talking physical media on FanZcene. On FanZcene. Shut up, rookie.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene since it's Halloween. Yes. Crying tears of blood for y'all.
You would just essentially go.
Hold on. Let me just.
Oh, it's a popcorn bucket?
Yeah, it's a popcorn bucket.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Halloween 2 popcorn bucket.
Sweet.
Yes. But how are you all tonight? What is up, Tom? How are you this evening?
I love your William Shatner bleeding eye popcorn bucket.
I know, isn't it great? I went to the
bleeding
theater
from
and
my eyes.
Yeah. Spock, there's something running down my face.
I'm crying blood. This happens once a month. I can't understand.
It's more severe on Halloween. But no, I went to the theater and at the theater I went to had that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I seen Halloween 2, I think got a re-release in theaters.
Yeah. But glad to have you on here. The youngins dipped out on us after they said they would be here this week. And then they both dipped out on us tonight. Yes, Shatner crying after watching Star Trek Discovery. But yes, this is we got a early start, so I know not
Star
everybody.
Trek Discovery was so bad it made me have period from my eyes.
It was worse than that time I saw a gremlin on the wing.
Where's yes. And anyhow, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. No, it's fine. But yes, we did start a little earlier, so I know not everybody's out in the chat and everybody watching yet. So go ahead, tell everybody we started earlier.
We started earlier.
Yes.
Oh, you mean them?
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, the youngins dipped. No, that's cool. I like that though. I mean, it gives us something to do because it's just us two, right?
Yes. We do have some announcements and rumors. So yeah.
So we'll get to that, and I'll say hi to the chat real quick. So make sure to tell everybody, and we'll get to you. And yes, if you guys do want In Search of Darkness, 1995 to 99 documentary, sale ends October 31st at midnight. It does help my channel. Mm-hmm. I would appreciate it if you guys do buy it. It does help my channel. I think this is the last 90s one they're going to do. I think they're going to move into the 2000s, which, to be honest, I'm not. Yeah, maybe the first couple 2000 movies, but after that,
did they ever do the 70s? They should have went back to the 70s.
Yeah, I wish they would do the 70s. They never did.
Grindhouse, baby, drive-ins and Grindhouse.
Yeah, they just started in the 80s and went to the 90s. I think they should go back to the 70s before they go to the 2000s. But hey, yeah. But what's up?
The birth of slasher. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they could do so
talk
many.
About that tonight.
That sounds fun. But happy Halloween to you, Uncle Remus. Glad to see you in the chat. What's up, Clark the Shark? Happy Halloween to you as well, too. Heather Preston, hi to you. Happy Halloween. Always glad to see you out there in the chat. Hell to you, Style Selection. Hell's Aussie. I don't get the whole Halloween thing because we don't do it. I know. That is so weird.
What?
Yeah, like the Australian people don't really do that. And then, like,
you guys are not a real country.
And then, like, the UK people, they love... Bark at the Moon. And like even the UK people, they do celebrate Halloween, but they always like on my videos, they're like, we never got to do this or see that at Halloween. Mostly it was just like 1 or 2 programs and that was it. And then it was over. So like even the UK people, which I find weird because like we always get this great gothic horror movies from the UK and like ghost stories and stuff. And they don't exactly. And they don't even celebrate Halloween. I guess it's like that every day over there. So I don't know. But what's up? Howdy and happy Halloween, Ace Hanlon. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. What's up? Happy Halloween, Tim Hayes. Glad to see you. Hell, Brian Barth. Glad to see you out in the chat. Yes, we have an early start tonight. I always love the name Psycho Not Your Daddy. Happy Howdy-ween. All hail from Texas. Well, hell to you, my good friend. Longhorns. So glad to see you. Hell to you.
Somebody's at my door, I think. Oh, shit.
Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior?
I'll be right back.
Hell to you, Zilla. Glad to see you as well. What's up, Tyrell72? Live long and prosper, as always. Let's see. Shatner. Yeah, we got that one. Shatner crying. Let's see who else we have. And yeah, no Rookie and Runner. They both said last week they should be able to make the Halloween show.
Losers.
And then Rookie gets called in to work, and then Runner just says, I can't make it. So it's me and Tom. And don't worry. I mean, this is the Halloween show. Next week will probably be the Halloween hangover show because we'll probably still have more Halloween movies next week. I'm loving the sound effects, to be honest with you. I'm loving the sound effects. I love it. Yeah. So
just annoying as piss.
No, I'm not annoyed by them. I actually love them. Premature ejection.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, like next week even will be Halloween hangover because Halloween's on a Friday, so I'm sure we'll have extra Halloween movies we watched. You
never know.
So, and what's up, John the Beagle Dad? Glad to see you as well with us tonight. But what are the announcements? What did we get for upcoming physical media
rumor
news?
Mars Attacks because I just bought it on Blu-ray, so of course
I saw that.
Kind of out of nowhere, we got oh shit, I just forgot what it was here. I had it here. Where'd it go? All right, well, I had shit up, now it went away from me. Okay. Anyway, Halloween is getting restored. We talked a little bit about that. We may talk a little bit about that later. Oh yes, Ben-Hur also got dropped because I just bought that as well. Speaking
of the Halloween, real quick before you get it, did you see about Halloween 4 and 5 as well?
Really?
Yeah, it's really. Arrow Video up on their YouTube and stuff has released trailers for Halloween 4 and 5 with the Arrow logo on them. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. Too bad I don't give a shit about 5, but
yeah,
maybe 4.
I like 4.
Great Outdoors is coming from Kino Lorber
in
4K. That's a good announcement there. It's funny how that one's getting one, but some of the other ones haven't. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to. What else was there? I think that's all I got on my. I'm sure I missed a few.
I know Arrow is starting theirs Friday. It looks like I think there was a snake in the picture they shared. Some possibly anaconda, maybe.
Anaconda, or would it be Escape from New York?
Let me see the picture of the snake again. That they showed and take your guesses.
Because I think Anaconda's got a 4K release. Oh, that's just in the US though, I think maybe.
Does it? Let's see.
I don't know.
I'll share the screen and you take your guesses. That's their snake they showed.
Snakes on
for announcements coming Friday. So could be snakes on a plane. Could be snakes on a plane.
Did they do? Yeah, they did Cobra already. So yeah.
I was going to Dusk Till Dawn, but maybe not because that's Disney or Paramount.
No, yeah, they own it. No, you're right.
Yeah, they own.
Those are supposed to be getting a release at some point, though.
So
it'll be interesting to see what this is.
Looks like a lot of people are guessing either Anaconda or Snakes on a Plane in the thing here.
Yeah.
So.
But I thought Sony already had plans to re-release or re-release Anaconda already in 4K.
Yeah, didn't they? Didn't it? Wasn't it Steelbook or something?
Yeah. So I highly doubt they would have Arrow doing it.
Yeah, Dragonzilla said Anaconda's getting 4K December. Yeah.
No, it's got to be something else. Yeah.
Wonder what it could be. Probably Snakes on a Plane. Yeah. Who put out?
Do a lot of Warner New Line titles. That would make sense.
I was gonna say, is that Warner New Line? Because that would make sense. Yeah.
I'm so sick of these motherfucking Blu-rays on this motherfucking website. Shout Factory can suck my dick.
Which looks like Shout Factory probably is going out of business. So,
baby.
Well, not out of business, but they're pretty much done. So what's up, Captain Krypton? What's up, Corleone? Glad to see you as well. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the guy from Orbit DVD, what he said. Which I did the video.
I don't think I did, but I've seen a few other people say a few things that are just basically like, yeah, this is not them stopping physical media, but it kind of sounds like they're stopping physical
Yeah.
media. Like, yeah, what did the guy from Orbit say?
Basically, that's what he said. He said he's had conversations with people who do work at Shout Factory, and he said it's pretty much anybody who cares for physical media over there has either been fired or have left the company. And
Oh boy, that's been obvious as hell.
yeah, he said so. Pretty much what's out there is what's out there. So he tends to. I mean, he would know. He deals with these people all the time. All these, So according to him, the people he's talked to, it's just not looking good. So, so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now I was gonna say personally, when I first heard this, I thought, nah, they're not going to get out physical media, but it sounds like they're going to scale back. Now I'm kind of like, maybe they are going to get out of physical media, considering the people that bought them are very. I mean, like they talk about a lot about streaming and free streaming and all that. So
yeah, they carry shit like Gordon Ramsay shows and shit.
Yeah. So
all I know is I crushed my enemy. I seen them driven before me, and I heard the lamentation of their women.
They were selling stuff some dirt cheap on their website. Now
they're cheap.
Now they're selling some dirt cheap ones on Amazon right now for 13 days of Scream sale.
I'm just waiting for them to go down even more, and then I'll.
Yeah.
Which is funny because didn't they just announce that deal with Barnes and Noble?
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I hate to see it happen to a boutique label, but at the same time, is Shout really a boutique label anymore?
It grew. It's clear that it grew too big for itself. And like I said, the one guy I can
their ego did, that's for sure. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Their ego did, but the one guy that I can never remember his name. He works for Arrow now. He was actually on Planet CHH.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was like the big
Felcher
guy
or whatever his name is.
No, Feltzer's Red Shirt. He started his own
Shirt,
company,
yeah.
Red Shirt, which
that's right. Never mind, you're right.
Which is also he used to do all the special features, which may come up a little bit with one of the titles I have tonight. He used to do all the special features for them and stuff. Now he does his own company. He don't do them for them no more.
Tim's not half wrong. Like, you're not totally wrong, Tim. They were kind of always corporate, but they kind of started as like, because they were an offshoot of Rhino, and Rhino and Shout were originally started, and Scream Factory were started by a lot of guys who used to work in the industry, and they wanted to do their own stuff. And there was a point when they were releasing most of the CDs for a while because music was kind of dying off. But no, you're not totally wrong. They kind of always had that corporate edge to them. But as of late, their disc releases, like I remember Time Cop and a few others were talking about Ace Ventura and a few like that. We're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So does that mean we're not getting Ace Ventura When Nature Calls now either? That kind of sucks.
Yeah, from what I understand, even I heard from saw from Serial at Midnight, is just because they got stuff coming, like they did do the Hong Kong stuff. Yes, they probably will still have releases coming down the year, but phasing out doesn't mean they're just going to stop them right now. So
True.
So yeah, so what
but
they
I wonder
coming,
if at the same time, a lot of their releases are what I heard was they're going to be leaning more into the anime shit.
Yes, I believe they're going to lean more into that, and they did do the Hong Kong stuff, so I believe they'll probably be getting into more of that. Those releases will still be coming.
Sorry for those who are fans. I didn't mean to call it shit, but yeah.
Yeah, those stuff will still be coming, but it does sound like eventually they're going to start phasing out a lot of stuff and scaling back a lot. So, and yes, I believe Cliff is his name. Thank you, Tim. He works for Arrow now, and that's pretty evident by the stuff Arrow's got, and it's pretty evident by this Halloween stuff. And I would assume that these Halloween movies will be UK only 4Ks because it's unavailable in UK.
Probably.
The Halloween movies are on 4K.
Well, let's hold that. Well, actually, that or we can go into the first pick unless there was any other.
I believe that's all. That's all I saw for announcements. What you mentioned.
Since we keep talking about it, and it is the most restored movie in history.
Go ahead.
Of course, I watched Halloween because it's Halloween.
Right.
And that's why you watch Halloween.
I was probably going to watch it this weekend, but I won't bring it on now.
I wasn't even going to watch it this year.
Really?
I feel like a fucking drug addict.
I know. It's like I wasn't planning on watching it either, and then I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it. I want to watch H2O, and I'm kind of pissed that I still haven't got the Shout Scream Factory 3 movie set. No, I don't have the 3 movie set of the last 3.
Because that went cheap again, didn't it? And because some people got it for that cheap price, and then it went on sale again.
It's on sale right now for $70 on Amazon.
70?
69 something.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah,
That's
and
almost
I'm
what I paid. I paid 89, I think, for it.
and
originally,
yeah,
so,
it's supposed to be like 30% off, and I'm thinking to myself, do I really want to
Uncle
spend
Remus,
that? So
have I got news for you?
what's up, Cowabunga dude? Boo to you. But
Not
yeah, so
only has Halloween
Realistic.
already been restored at least 6 times, it is getting restored again.
Yes, it sounds like Arrow is doing their own.
This is what I'm actually kind of excited for because look, I watched this again like a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't look bad. And my understanding is I don't even know if this is a okay. So this is the reason why there's a big deal or big to do about this, because my understanding was the scan that Lionsgate had was a different scan from what Shout did,
Mm-hmm.
and Shout kind of owned the exclusivity on Halloween for like a decade.
Right.
And then now that all the rights and stuff have gone up, we've heard that Arrow is doing it, but they're not using Shout scan.
That's
And I don't know if it's just because Shout wants too much for it, or if Arrow's probably looking at it as it would just be better for us to do our own newer scan because it hasn't been done in 10, 15 years anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a combination of all of these things. If it is, in fact, going to be a brand new 4K scan, I might chuck the money up for it. I don't know if I really will for 4 and 5, though.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to because I've bought this movie so many fucking times now.
Me too. Me too.
Like, I swear, like, people made fun of me for movies, like, you know, even Yellow Flash with the whole Godzilla. It's like, no, do you realize how many copies of Halloween I have? It's like, motherfucker, you have no idea. And
Yeah.
I've given and sold so many. Like, I have bought every single copy of Halloween that has ever existed on disc. Period. At one point or another. It was one of the first DVDs I ever owned. It was one of the first special edition DVDs I rebought. One of the first special edition that I rebought because they did a Divimax DVD version.
Yeah,
of it.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was one of the first Blu-rays I ever bought. In fact, it was literally one of the first 5 Blu-rays I ever got. The night I got PS3. And then I got it again when they redid it. And then I got the 4K. And then I got the Shout Factory 4K. So here we are now again. And in those processes, I know it's been remastered, hence reconstructed, scanned, whatever, at least 4, 5 to 6 times in that whole lifespan that I just brought up.
Yeah.
Right. So in that light, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and in my knowledge also, it's been the negative almost every fucking time. So when I say it's the most restored movie in history, I'm not even being hyperbolic and making jokes.
Right.
Like, I swear the negative for Halloween has probably been scanned more than any other movie in history.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed.
And
so it's been just scanned and scanned and scanned. So I don't know how good it's going to look. It may look better just because it's a newer scan, and Arrow does a good job. But anyway, you're going to say, Greg.
No, you're right. No, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, and like Shark says, Halloween and Jaws, we just keep eating them up. But no, you're not wrong. It is. And one of the things about that as well, too, is like the Buffet here brings up the Anchor Bay. A lot of the people that worked at Anchor Bay, the original Anchor Bay, were the ones that helped found Scream and Shout Factory. So they brought that over. And so now that guy, and I believe the guy that works on Arrow now was one of the people that was part of Anchor Bay. So now he's bringing that over to Arrow. So you could kind of thank him for all these multiple scans of Halloween. So as you were mentioning there.
Well, and I hope Arrow also does some new special, it also, Arrow, take the time and the advantage of this situation, if you can, to even like bring in like the extended cut with the TV version, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I've seen this movie a million times. And I think I have one more pick than you do, right?
Yeah, you have one more than me.
So I'm going to do 2 right now.
Okay, go. Well, go ahead.
I'll get that out of the way, and then we'll just do one back and forth. Because this is another movie that I have multiple copies of. And clearly, look, Halloween is basically just a ripoff of this film. And as I said, keep in mind, we're going to talk about the origin of slasher films. Because there's one that stands right next to Halloween as the granddaddy of them all. I know there was other films that did it before it, but let's be real, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Which I have
multiple copies of.
Fucking copies. In fact, this is one I think I own the most in 4K. I have three right here that are 4K and one Blu-ray. Right, I bought the truck version. This is one I've not bought every version of, just because there's been so. This has probably been re-released more than Halloween, but to my knowledge, all these are from the same scan. So like,
yeah,
Tobe Hoopa, exactly. And here's the beauty of these movies, and I love Halloween more than I do Texas Chainsaw Massacre by far. Don't get me wrong; it's the far superior film. But watching them this time nearly back to back, it wasn't back to back, but it was pretty close together. I noticed how structurally they're very similar, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the infinitely more easier watch, and it doesn't wear its time, to where Halloween, even though it's like 90 minutes, feels like an hour and 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is 86 minutes, and that motherfucker feels like it's 12.
It's very unrelenting in moves.
And not only, okay, and then you have the opposite side of it when actually everything's happening at the end. That dinner scene, even though it's like only not even 10 minutes of the movie, it feels like it's a good 30 minutes of the end of the movie. Like, just because of how tense and relentless it is, right? But like watching these two movies this time, just watching the birth of the slasher film again, you know, all these years later, basically like on a kind of a quasi 50th anniversary, because you know, last year was the 50th anniversary of Texas. We're coming up on the 50th of Halloween here in a couple of years. Here we are 50 years into the invention of the slasher film. Yeah. And, you know, it just, to me, it's like, has it come back ever? Are we ever going to see it again? I don't know. I mean, because I could talk about the scan. I've talked about these scans multiple times. So I wanted to come up with something to talk about. And I think you reposted something about Dewey in a commercial for the Scream thing. I'm really curious to see what they come up with the Scream thing. But other than that, you know, you and I think we're really surprised at how good the latest Final Destination movie was.
I was very surprised about that, how well it was. And I don't know what it was. I don't know how they managed it. And yes, we do talk about a lot about how we need new original movies. And I know you haven't seen it yet, but me and Renner did a big conversation on it.
On Weapons, yeah.
It was very original.
I've seen it's on HBO Max now, so I might give it a shot.
Be honest with you, I don't have hopes that you'll like it, but you may surprise me. But no, as far as like the Final Destination, yes, it's a 6-movie to franchise, but somehow it felt great and fresh. And I am curious, and I am very curious about Scream 7, which supposedly we may or may not get a trailer tomorrow. So
yeah, I've been hearing some rumblings that we're gonna get something sooner than later, which I hope means we'll get the idea of what the fuck this is supposed to be.
Yes, so I am curious, and yes, Psycho or Night Junkie, Psycho, and Peeping Tom did do it first. They are like the forefathers of the Psycho or the slasher genre. But like when it got into like with Texas Chainsaw, and then definitely with Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, that's when the slasher genre became a slasher genre.
Don't get me wrong, but yeah, because what happened is you had a couple, and I acknowledge that there was a few different movies before that kind of
were
the foundation, the basement, whatever you want to call it, of the slasher film. Absolutely. Christmas, Black Christmas, and all that included. But the movie that set it off was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that set the whole idea that you could make one of these movies for next to fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people got to remember how much the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was made for.
Yeah,
like we're talking fucking peanuts.
I know. I've watched that documentary.
Halloween, same thing. Not even $100 some thousand it was made, and that was. So that's basically like $1 million, $1.5 million movie right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about if they made a Halloween movie. Just think about what the last Halloween... The fact that Halloween 2018 grossed more money or made more money at the box office than that entire franchise put together is insane. Inflation aside and all that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just flat numbers. You add up all of the Halloween, and I'm including the Rob Zombie films, I believe, if I remember my calculation correct.
I believe you're right.
That first 2018 movie outgrossed all of them, even with H2O in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And at that time, I think the only one of them to cross anywhere near, like, I think the highest grossing of the Halloween films to that point, dollar for dollar, not with counting inflation, would have been the first Rob Zombie one, if I'm not mistaken, if not the original Halloween.
Yeah, I think that
One of
first
those,
Rob
one of
Zombie
the
one
two.
was
I think they're
pretty
like neck and
successful.
neck or something like that, because I think
Yeah,
they both made like 40-50 million dollars, or maybe 60 at the box office, something like that.
yeah.
People forget that Rob Zombie movie didn't make all that much. But then 2018 come, I have no idea what the fuck happened. Like it took me by surprise. I think you and I remember we were talking about it. It was just like, how the fuck does this happen?
It did. I think, to be honest with you, as since we're talking slashers, I think at that time the slasher genre was pretty much gone because of the early 2000s, because they
Yeah,
was remaking everything and it kind of drove the slasher into the ground. So, and I think by the time that came back around with that, I think people were
I think
kind
that's
of,
half of it.
into, and then plus Michael Myers, the Rob Zombie ones left a bad stain in people's mouth, and it was kind of like,
Bad taste, yeah.
yeah,
Especially the second one,
yeah, especially the second one. So like you're bringing Jamie Lee Curtis back. It's a
I think
different
it had more to do with
story,
the Force Awakens effect.
sort of. Yeah,
I think that had more to
yeah,
do with it. Because look at how much Force Awakens made, and let's be real. The only reason that movie made it was because Star Wars is back. I think you're right, and that feeds right into what you were just saying.
yeah, about the
That
Star Wars.
movie signified classic slasher horror is back. Not only that, Jamie Lee Curtis is back, like you said. They even went as far as to make Michael Myers' mask look like it was aged, which I still think is stupid in hindsight.
Yeah, but it's the most looking mask that look like the original more than the sequels have ever done outside of the second one. Even though they aged, yeah.
The aging thing. Look, there's so much retarded that comes out of 2018 that I can't believe so many people shit on Kills so much, and ends get just nobody talks about how fucking bad that movie is.
Yeah, it is horrible. Funny thing is, John Carpenter actually really loves Kills.
I can see why. It's the most like the original films.
He loves Kills.
It's kind of like him getting to redo Halloween 2. Like, in a way.
Honestly,
getting a second crack at it.
It's true, because like if you watch Halloween Kills, it's like a combination of Halloween 2 and Halloween 4. The parts of Halloween 4 where like the town mounts up, try to go after Michael Myers, that part of Halloween 4. So it's kind of like all that, and like it is a slasher. Plus the flashback scenes are actually incredible in Halloween Kills.
Look,
So
I get it. Like there's a big debate about, or not a big debate, but there's some debate even going on right now in the chat.
yeah, I know. It's his dog.
Like, because look, Uncle Remus Kills is terrible. I will not disagree with you, but it's just as terrible as every other part 2, 3, 4 sequel we ever got in the past.
Yeah.
And everybody making fun of it. It's like, you do realize that every hallmark that's in that movie is from every slasher film before it, right? Like, how many times in every movie do we hear like "Death Dies Tonight" or whatever, like shit like that, or
dies tonight?
like, good God, like.
It's, to be honest, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure because, like you said, I know it's a bad movie, but there's stuff in that makes me chuckle and like I kind of like seeing. So
I'll argue up and down with anybody that's the best of that trilogy. Because look, I get it. People like to be high on 2018, and I even seen somebody who said it's good, and that's fine. You can like it. We talked about it many a time. You and I have that fucking movie though, and I rewatched it. What was it, last year, year before, whatever ends came out.
Yeah,
and I kind of I kind of was like light on it for a while, but then I really dug into it. I remember, because the thing that really bothered me the first time out was mainly the doctor thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was so stupid. But more and more I got into it, especially as Kills and Ends came around, because I was pissed, because I'm like, what the fuck was the point of this? This was the most pointless venture I've ever seen. And I get it. Part of it is because Blumhouse didn't have the rights to do any more movies after that. But if they had done it right, they could have kept making these movies and kept buying the rights for years to come. All you had to do is set it up because it's there. It's right there. It's all you got to do is set it up as Michael Myers doesn't care about anybody anymore. It's just he wants to go after babysitters. That's his whole thing. You undid part 2 for what reason? Most people are still confused. Like, you ask any average person on the street who's not a uber Halloween fan like us, and at least 5 or more of them are going to go, oh yeah, they're still brother and sister.
Yeah. I've heard people 100 times tell me that she's his sister in the movie, right? And I'm like,
no,
she's not.
And the reason that is because they do such a piss poor job of explaining that or showing that.
Yeah.
And I said, you missed the huge opportunity, and it's kind of there, but it's not there. Where basically you just have Mike come up to her and she's like, Michael, here I am. I've been waiting for you for all these years. He just kind of cocks his head and just turns the other fucking way and walks away from her.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't even recognize her, doesn't care. Because it's not about her. It never was about her.
No.
It was just about the fact that she was a fucking babysitter. Just like Annie and everybody else that he killed that night.
Yep.
Right? Duh.
Right. It's
like,
go
it's
ahead.
so stupid. Sorry.
No, you're right.
And then you had the perfect point to set her up as the Loomis character is the end of my point, right? Because she has spent the last 40 years of her life obsessed with Michael fucking Myers. So who else knows more about Michael Myers than her?
Exactly. And it sort of goes back to what John Carpenter set up in the first one, because the whole point of Michael Myers is he's this town evil. He's this town secret where, he killed, how every town has one of those stories like, oh, so-and-so killed their family in this house and we don't talk about that. And this is that, This is that evil that's come back to that town to kill more babysitters, which his sister was babysitting him.
And Eds confuses it even more because at the end they got him dying or on a funeral form, hand in fucking hand, like their brother and sister. It's like, what the fuck is this shit?
It is. It's so bad.
This man terrorized this bitch's life for her entire existence. The last thing she would want to do is die side by side with this motherfucker.
Yeah. Halloween is so bad. So bad.
It is such a bad. It's almost like they forgot what movie they were making at that point. It was like, and then you find out they had no plan. Yeah. It's like, oh, so you made this thing like the fucking Star Wars trilogy, you fucking morons.
And then he just decided to make a Christine movie for ends. Because literally the character is named after the guy from Christine, the guy that takes over from Michael. And the way the mask plays on him is like Christine, the way the car plays on him. It's so stupid.
Can you imagine
I hate that movie.
Can you imagine how cool if the third movie would have just basically been what we just set up here with, like, sure, Halloween Kills is your standard fucking part 2, right? Everything's amped up to 11. You've got the crazy town coming after him, all that shit. What if in part 3, Michael has disappeared for a fucking year and Jamie Lee Curtis has been running around trying to fucking locate him? Just basically like Loomis going crazy, telling everybody he's going to come back. He's going to be back on. You never listened to me before, and he came back. Look what happened.
Yeah.
And then you set her up in this role to where you keep having her come back that way. And it's not so convoluted. It's just simple. She's the person who knows everything about Michael. She's taken over the role of Loomis in the sense that she is the protector, the person who shows up 3 times in a movie, and that's all you got to pay her for. Right? Like, show up and say, I told you he's coming back. He's back. And then shows up at the end to shoot him. That's all you need her for. Like,
yeah, it's pretty much. And Uncle Remus here, I know you're like saying use Dr. Loomis character, which could be interesting. You know what I've always wanted, and I don't think you'll probably agree with me, Todd, but I've always wanted a spin-off movie with the priest from Halloween 4. I know it's sort of
care enough, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know you don't, but I know it's sort of played as a joke, but he's like, I can see it. You're a pilgrim when he tells Dr. Loomis, I see it, you're hunting evil. Been hunting evil all my life.
Right. Oh, that guy. Yeah.
And I was like, you could like do a prequel movie in the past with a younger actor of this guy becoming a priest chasing evil. I think that could be kind of cool, personally.
It could be something similar to that, but like, yeah.
It's an original thing. It doesn't have to be spin off. But I always kind of thought that would have been an interesting movie to see this, like start in the present with this old preacher and then flashback to when he becomes a young,
the bigger
and all that.
The bigger loss of this was when Halloween Kills, and this is maybe why I understand why people dislike Halloween Kills so much, because of the lost opportunity you had here to flash back to that first night and then just pick up from there with that guy who looks and sounds like Loomis. Who gives a shit if he's a different guy? We don't care. He looks enough like him.
He did.
Keep the movie set in the 70s and early 80s for like the next few years. Just keep them in that era. Just keep picking up every Halloween year. The Loomis guy, just keep doing it. I would have been fine with that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can make it a fucking TV series. I don't care. Like,
which they are now. Good night, John, being old dad. So, which is supposed to pick up after the first movie. Actually, the TV series is supposed to.
And let's not even get into the convoluted bullshit of fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I know. And go ahead.
Part of the reason I watched that is because I didn't watch the Ed Gein story yet. Because I almost have to, because, the Wisconsin connections. And I still haven't even watched the Dahmer one they did yet either.
I've heard they're really bad.
I've heard the Dahmer one's okay. I've heard the Menendez one is whatever.
Yeah.
But then this one, this is why I watched it, because I saw some of the shots. I'm like, is this fucking for real? Did they really do this?
Yeah.
This
It
is a
just-
remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is not a real fucking story. People don't, and I've fucking struggled with this shit for years. For years.
Mhm.
Like, people who don't understand what based on a true story for Texas Chainsaw means.
That kind of reminds me of something. That you go ahead, talk. I'm gonna see if I can find this.
Okay, go ahead. But like, I mean, I remember getting into spats with people who are like, you know, no, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is real. It's like, no, it fucking isn't. It's like, and then they name the name of the family in the new version, right? And I'm like, that's not even real. First of all, they were the Sawyers in the original family, and it was their family name in the original film. And secondly, it's all loosely fucking based on Ed Gein.
Yeah.
And I mean loosely fucking based. The best one that was done was with Stephen Railsback like 25 years ago. It was like a made for Showtime or something like that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was his name, the actor. But like, it's not great, but it's probably closest to what really happened. And they even get some shit wrong or amped some shit up there.
Yeah.
But this, from what I saw, I didn't even see the show. I haven't seen the trailers. I just saw a few of the images and shit. And I'm like, did they really do that? They literally just lifted scenes right out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm like, none of that shit happened. Like, Ed Gein is actually so benign compared to some of the other shit that's out there. And it's funny because we get so much shit in Wisconsin for Dahmer and Ed Gein. And I'm like, well, we caught ours. What's yours all's excuses?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and this is a great clip to bring up from Jamie
There you
Kennedy. He talked to Chop Top Mosley. He talked to him, and this is a little short that Jamie Kennedy put up, and I'll share it with you. And it talks about that. So let me pop that up here, and did it show up here? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen. Make sure I got the volume up. Okay.
Well, his first movie was Texas Chainsaw.
Wasn't it based off a real guy?
Well, it was supposedly based off Ed Gein, and I don't think Ed was really doing the chainsaws.
He was.
I think the
No.
Texas and the chainsaws were added.
Put it that in. Okay.
Yeah, Ed's a Wisconsin
added.
guy.
Yeah.
Ed Gein.
What are you saying?
Well, he's not Texas. Yeah, he's a little farmer
Ed's
hat. Ed's Wisconsin.
Why
He
can't you
is.
say Ed's a Wisconsin monster?
Yeah, I could say it. But yeah.
You're so laissez-faire
And I'm not
about
making
that.
any
you know, I
excuses
wrote a
for the
poem
crazy
about him.
shit
It's
the
like a
motherfucker
Cornbuck
did.
song.
But
It said,
Yeah.
Ed,
Because he goes.
I
on
just
to
mean
about
he's
a poem.
tame in comparison to like even like Dahmer and some of the other shit.
Yeah.
Like even compared to like Jack the Ripper, he was kind of tame. Because
Yeah.
the truth be known, I think he only killed like 2 or 3 people. I'm trying to
He only
remember now
killed
exactly.
2 women, but what
Yeah,
he
and his
mostly
brother.
did was, I think, did he
But
kill?
and they never proved that. But
Yeah, it was like a hunting accident thing. And then,
quote unquote hunting accident. Yes.
And the most he did, like he dug up graves and made furniture out of body
Yes.
parts and women's
That's his
bodies
big
and stuff that he
thing.
dug up. So
and that's where like James Gumb comes from. And
yeah,
that's the thing. Psycho was based on him. In fact, the book, from my memory, it's been 30 years since I read the book, but the book's way different than the movie. I mean, some of the beats are similar, but like the characters way different, because the character in the book is more based on Ed Gein than Norman Bates, because they kind of made Norman a bit more of a, because Hitchcock's whole thing was let's make him sympathetic so you can't, the audience can't believe that they're sympathizing with the killer.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the hook of the Psycho movie, but the book, the guy in the book is different. Like he's just this fat schlubby kind of
and he
loser.
does pretty nasty things to the body and everything.
Yeah. and look, Ed did some pretty nasty motherfucking shit. Like, don't get me wrong, but you could barely call him a serial killer.
He was
That's
not.
the problem.
He was not. Yeah.
And I think he only hardly qualifies because if he only technically killed 3 people. It's more so just the horrific nature of what he did otherwise. His whole like, and my understanding is a lot of this started after his mother died. I don't even know if a lot of it was before, because his brother I think would have been before, but that would have been more of him doing it out of jealousy. And then like the thing with the digging up the bodies and doing all that kind of stuff and making furniture out of it, the bones and all that stuff. I think a lot of that started after his mother died, because that was the whole thing. Because his mother was so much a big part of his life and all that kind of shit. And I think he dug up her body, and
Yeah, that's like
And
the whole thing where Psycho.
yeah, with
gets it
Psycho,
from.
like like that's where they got that from. And I'm trying to remember because that's the problem. There's so many different accounts from like the movies and stuff like that. And I actually read like a book about it years and years and years ago. So I'm trying
Yeah.
not to get too many things crossed over. But I mean, I'm not trying to diminutize anything he did. I'm just saying like there's been a lot worse shit. I mean, even like fucking Dahmer just diminishes anything that anybody's done.
Yeah.
Right? He's got to be probably arguably the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Dahmer, I mean, literally fucked them and ate them.
Yeah.
I mean, and fucked them
Pretty
after they
bad.
were dead.
Yeah, it's pretty,
Like, I mean,
he like
that's what I'm
drilled
saying.
people in people's skulls, and then
Yeah.
you know,
Dahmer's a whole new level of fucked up.
yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
like
he
we
was
heard
bad.
that shit and we're like, this is like shit that even like Wes Craven couldn't come up with.
Exactly.
Like, we're watching, and I remember when that shit was happening on the news in this area. Like, you got to imagine what that would have been like for somebody like it was for us living in an area when this is so embarrassing.
Mhm.
Right, but that's how I thought how to deal with it, because always everybody give us so much shit. It's like, well, at least we caught ours. Y'all never caught yours, right? Nobody ever caught the Zodiac killer,
Nope.
right? And there's been how many other serial killers for years throughout the country that haven't been caught or finally got caught 50 years later because of DNA, right? It's like y'all they got away with it for so fucking long. But at least we caught ours, you know. But our psychos are fucking psycho, I tell you what.
That's funny. But my first pick will have something go off this very well, talking about psychos and everything and like that. But I do want to say a couple things because I did see some things out in chat.
Yeah.
I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. I wish we'd get the actual cut of the film, which I still don't know if we'll ever get that because I think
I think we're
destroyed
supposed
a
to be
lot of
getting
that.
the closest to reconstructed 4K version we're ever going to get, right? I
Yeah,
think
and that
that's
may
the
come from
rumor.
Arrow because it's a new line.
Yeah, that's the rumor anyway.
So that's
I guess,
rumor.
but yeah.
Texas Chainsaw 4, I didn't care for, but it's kind of fun to watch with Matthew McConaughey in it, but it's still
It feels like an
movie.
airplane parody movie.
It does.
Of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. And it doesn't help that Renee Zellweger and fucking Matthew McConaughey are in it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, they made it when they weren't famous, but now that they are so famous, it almost makes it more of like an airplane kind of movie. And it is such a bad movie
and
on so many levels.
The pretty girl Leatherface is horrible in the movie. So there's that.
For fuck's sake. Leatherface is just wrong in general in that movie.
Yes, he is. He's so wrong.
Matthew McConaughey is arguably the best part of the film. He almost feels like he would be Chop Top's kid.
Yeah, he does. He does. He really does.
He's the only part of the movie that kind of fits. I mean, there is some really relentless, like if you could tell in the movie they were trying to get back to that torturous, relentless kind of feeling, but it just wasn't working. And then just, I don't know if the directors were just in over their head. The director was in over their head.
Something.
What was going on?
Yeah.
Excuse me, but we all know the history of it. But then, look, I have a soft spot for Texas 3D. I hate the "go get him, cuz" line.
Yeah,
but I do. But I do like this idea that the blood runs thick in the family to where Bubba wouldn't do anything to anybody who's family, and he would hurt somebody if they were to hurt family, right? Like, and outside of the fuck ups in the film and certain other things, it almost feels like a missed opportunity. Especially, I know you talked to Adam and stuff about it too. If they had stuck more with the original idea and actually had the movie take place when it was supposed to take place. And it was kind of refreshing to hear him say all the things, because it was all the things that I had a problem with the film. He's like, no, my original script took place exactly X amount in the 90s, exactly X 20 years or whatever after the original. And, the girl was supposed to only be this much, and they fucked that up. And they got the cell phones and crap in there and all this other shit. And, and you're like, yes, that's all the problems. I think is, and don't go get him, cuz that was not my line.
Yep, he said, I did not write that.
Yeah. So he understood the problems with it, but at the same time, what's sad is there is a good idea in there. There's a lot of kernels and actual sprouts and a few leaves here and there throughout the film, and it is probably the best representation we've had of Leatherface since probably Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw 3 or one of those films, to where it felt almost like a classic Leatherface.
Yeah,
and I mean, you can tell that the people made it were somewhat fans of it. But then, of course, you got the remakes and stuff. And the remake, to me, I don't hate it, but I don't like it nearly, and I don't put it on nearly the pedestal most people do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we were cheated out of a Texas Chainsaw remake that Rob Zombie should have directed instead of Halloween.
Yeah. If
I feel like he would have
anybody-
made the definitive remake of that film that it would have been like, oh my fucking God, somebody nailed it. You know what I mean? Like,
he could have
knows how
did
to do
with
it.
the Devil Rejects movies. and stuff,
Exactly.
so- but he was like the perfect person for those movies, not Halloween. So
And Halloween, the remake, and 2 feel like well, 2 is just its own fucking thing.
yeah,
But Halloween, the remake, feels like it should be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre
I know
movie.
what
It
how
has that
nasty
tone.
the family is and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh,
And
I see why this kid became a psycho.
Yeah, exactly. So like throughout the films, like I never even watched that newer one that was on Netflix. I saw clips of
Oh
it. and that was
yeah.
it. I never watched that other movie that they ended up calling Leatherface, even though it had nothing to do with the franchise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, am I missing any other ones? I mean, you and I both know that my favorite one is the second
2.
one.
And
It's 2. It's 2. So
I was actually going to watch that one, and I still may this
I didn't get a
weekend.
chance to get to 2, but yeah.
I did spoilers. It might be on next week's show because it's Halloween. I was thinking about watching part 2.
Maybe I'll try to watch it then, just because.
Yeah. So
It's
there
been a
you
while
go.
since I checked it out. So yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring those up and good points on all those. And also, I saw somebody mention Terrifier out there. I don't know if you've heard about what's happening with that. The chick from the first movie is suing them. The one that gets cut in half is suing them for money. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm reading this, and she's talking about all the stuff that she went through from having to be naked and hung upside down and all this. And I'm like, it sounds to me like she didn't expect this franchise to become what it's become. Now she wants money. You know what I mean? Like she made a
Typical,
bad,
yeah.
it sounds like she made a bad deal and she's regretting it. Because I also remember this chick actually wrote an article herself talking about how proud she was that she did that scene and how awesome it was and the people she worked with. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I remember reading this article about how you talk about getting nude and doing the scene and everything and the people that worked with and how cool it was. Now you're suing them for unsafe working conditions and for money that you won on the back end. Something doesn't sound right to me.
I bet their lawyers bring up that article as well. So anyhow, moving on. So
and moving on to my slasher pick. And also it's kind of weird to see like David Arquette doing Arby's commercials and Matthew Lillard doing a colon screen cancer commercial. Makes me feel old. And they're doing them in the style of Scream.
It's a Scream, baby.
So, but no, keep like with the vein of Psychos and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff and slashers. I have brought this one on before, but I felt like watching it again thanks to all that shit the In Search of Darkness people keep sending me. But I watched Strangeland, D. Snyder's Strangeland.
Seen that once. Came
Seen
out
it
when I
once?
had the video store.
Yeah.
Strange movie.
It is. I wish we'd get a Blu-ray of this. But no, like with what you were talking about, this was supposed to be based off
Actually,
of...
that reminded me I forgot 2 movies that I watched.
Well, that's okay. Whatever you want to bring on. But like D. Snyder and them have all said this movie was is like based. He wanted to create his own like 7/ Silence of the Lambs type movie.
Did 7 even fucking exist when he made this movie?
Yes, it did exist. 7
okay.
and that's what
It's more like
inspired
Hellraiser the guy was wanting to make. Come on, let's
this
be real.
feels more like Psycho meets Hellraiser meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He ended up making a slasher, not a Silence of the Lambs.
It's a shitty movie, at least from my memory. And maybe it's
I like the
aged
movie,
better
but
than
it is.
saw.
I won't argue. Sorry, it is a bad movie, but it's one of the
Maybe
bad
it's
movies
better
I like
than
watching.
I remember.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I'm not, I know what you're saying. But like, he's got like these tattoos and the piercings, and he's like into the whole world of like, body modification, and he gets online. It was like the early days of like chat rooms. You remember those chat rooms? Like, hey, you want to chat? And he's getting these teenage girls and guys to come over to his house, and he's like experimenting on them and killing them and stuff. And it really feels like it's a very disjointed movie. It's 2 movies in one. It's like he purposely wrote, like the first half of the movie feels like part 1, and the second half of the movie feels like part 2. You know what I mean?
And the other problem with the movie I have is you can definitely tell that he has a kink in this somehow. It's
oh yeah, D. Snyder clearly has a kink in this.
Yeah, and that's probably why it. Look,
he was working some shit out.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem with the movie. maybe in hindsight, I could watch it now, 25 years later, see it differently. But yeah, I'm watching it then. And this is way, way before the woke bullshit and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, this movie is just this dude's pretentious fucking kink shit.
You could tell he was trying to think he was making some, like he mentions, thinks he was trying to make Silence of the Lamb and Seven.
Yeah.
He made like a B movie slasher film where he's this like quasi Norman Bates meets Freddy Krueger, and Robert Englund is in this movie as well too, and he does some pretty nasty things to Robert Englund in this movie as well, which is kind of weird.
I have very little memory of the film itself.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to a lot of this. I just remember I remember feeling afterwards. And I think I do remember watching some of the making of it. I do remember him saying some of that shit. And I just remember going, this pretentious motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad because, I mean, now politically, I know he's a big douchebag, but
yeah,
it's sad because it was kind of a fucking letdown because you guys got to remember how big of a deal Dee Snider was to us.
Oh, he was big back in the day. I mean, like even
there's a reason why
and everything.
I was just gonna say, there's a reason why we're not gonna take it as an anthem. It's not just because it's a good song. It's because this motherfucker stood up in front of Congress and he had the balls to do what he did. And if you have not seen the video of him taking down Al Gore, do yourself a fucking favor. Because back then, when they were getting into the whole like, you know, because this is what's funny, and I just remember having this conversation the other day about modern music. It's like you listen to shit like Wet Ass Pussy, and it's like you guys don't realize how far we have come in music, right? And for better or worse, I'm just saying, because there was a time when, you know, a lot of these songs were more or less, because this is what was spawned about the whole conversation, was like more or less all these songs were like hidden meanings, right? Like, because I was bringing up some songs where I'm like, just listen to the fucking lyrics. They're not what you think they are. And they're like, holy shit, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, because back then they had to hide this shit. Now you can just come out and sing shit about like Wet Ass Pussy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can thank the Two Live Crew and a few other people for shit like that, right? Because they're just one of the first people to come out and say, you know what? We're going to sing about pussy. We're going to sing about fucking, and we ain't going to hide it. And they got arrested for that shit. And then now here we got people out there singing Wet Ass Pussy. And that's played on the radio.
Yeah.
The radio.
The radio for little kids and everybody to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so like, yeah, the slasher genre, and that's the thing with this Dee Snider movie. It almost feels like
it is,
dude.
It's a slasher film, not a Seven or Silence of the It's a slasher film.
I felt like I think he could have done a much better job. And the movie isn't horrible looking. Like, it is
it's a very well shot movie.
Competent made, like, I mean, you can tell Dee probably took a lot of notes from all the video. And see, that's the thing is, Twisted Sister always had some of the great, like, they were in the MTV generation, so they had some of the great videos. So you can tell he probably paid attention to a lot of that shit and all that kind of business. It just felt like a wasted opportunity to have him do this. And the movie didn't make any waves whatsoever.
No.
Like, I don't think it's ever gotten any re-releases at all.
No, it's stuck on DVD. It's never moved past it. And I'll tell you this, I'm not disagreeing with you or anything in any way, shape, or form, because it's not a great movie. But I think I keep watching it in hopes that I see a great movie. You know what I mean? Because I do kind of like the movie. I do kind of like the movie because there's things I see and I'm like, okay, this would be really cool and everything. But also it feels like there's a lot missing from this movie. And it does feel like they tried to shove two movies in one, like I was saying.
Well, did Dee pay for this movie himself, or did he get funding for it? Because it almost makes me wonder if like he wanted to make like a 7 / Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, he did. He said he wanted to make
but the funding people are just like, no, just make a fucking Hellraiser movie, you dumbass.
I feel like there was probably that's why I would like to know more about this, because there's like nothing on this movie. I would like to know more about this because it does feel like there is like chunks of this movie missing, like lots of chunks of this movie
probably
missing.
Never got finished and or cut out completely.
Yeah, because it's only like 87 minutes long, and it feels like this should be a 2-hour long movie. So there's a lot missing, and like they said, the first half of the movie is like it's the cop's daughter and her friend go missing, and it's the cop. You know, he's trying to find his daughter. He's investigating, trying to find him. Gets into the internet, finds him. They actually arrest him. He goes to jail. He gets found not guilty for a reason of insanity, and then it goes 4 years later. jumps 4 years later. And that's the second half of the film is he's cured, kind of like Psycho 2. It's kind of like Psycho 2 in the second half of the film. He's cured. He's all out. He's not sadomastic and all that. He's normal. He's taking the medicine. Robert Englund plays like the small town hick who thinks he took his daughter. So he gets like a group of people together. They go and they hang him and he lives, but it reawakens the Uncle Howdy persona because he's, he's all about like that.
Oh yeah, there's
shit.
that too, which is a clear nod to Captain Howdy, but yeah.
Yeah. And so like it reawakens him and he goes and takes the cop's daughter again and he starts killing, like Robert Englund and other people in the town, and the cop has to fight him again. So it feels like this is two movies in one, and it really feels like there should be something in there. That's why I keep watching it. I'm like, there's something in here. There could have been something, and I kind of want a special edition to see like deleted scenes and shit. And
I don't remember. Did he do any music or anything for the movie either? Because they were asking in the chat. Because I can't remember now.
Yeah. He actually wrote a song, Captain Howdy, for the movie. And there's a lot of heavy metal music in it from other bands and stuff. Like, yeah. But I know you didn't. I'm not trying to, but it really goes along with our conversation of the whole slashers and Texas Chainsaw stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, these movies are not always great. They're not always great. No. Sometimes they're just really bad movies, but sometimes there's something about them that we just keep watching, and why we don't know.
Well, compared to a lot of modern films, the movie might actually be good. That's what I mean by it might actually age well.
Yeah, it might. I mean, check it out. I mean, well, if you want to.
I don't know if I still have it or not. I used to have it. I don't know if I do.
Yeah, it gets me with like the early days of the chat rooms because I remember those. I remember those chat rooms. And to be honest with you, I would have played the In Search of Darkness clip that they sent me about because they talked to him about this movie. But he sounds really. It's like I don't know if you guys should even be putting that clip out there yourself. The way he talks about what he talks about.
I don't know if I remember that part, but yeah.
No, because in the new one that's coming out that you can pre-order now, because it was made in '98. The movie was made in '98. So like he's talking to them. He's like telling them like when I wrote this movie, because he wrote it. He's like AOL chat rooms were a big thing, and I thought to myself, you could do some dangerous stuff with this stuff. And so I created a teenage persona and got onto a teenage chat room and I tried to see if I could get teenage girls to come to a party. And he said he did, and he immediately pulled the plug from the internet out of his computer and said, holy shit, it worked.
Bullshit.
And I'm thinking to myself, you might not want to say that or put that out there.
That sounds like you're trying to make an excuse for something incriminating, but anyhow.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm saying he definitely was working something out in this movie. Definitely.
Something else.
But anyways, that was that. So
all the D. Snyder's sexuality is not something I want to get into.
Yeah. So,
but speaking of psychosexual shit and Hellraiser for that matter, you totally reminded me. I forgot. I watched Hellraiser 1 and 2 again.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean this is of course a great box set from Arrow that has Hellraiser 1 through 4, remastered, looking beautiful. My problem with Hellraiser 2 is every time I watch it, I like it less.
Oh, really?
I don't know why, because I loved it the first time I saw it. I remember loving it back in the day. But over the last few years, the last couple times I've watched it, it's like, what is it about this movie that I don't... It's like it's starting to make me dislike it. I don't know what it is. I wish I knew. But it feels like such a cheesy follow-up to the first movie. Maybe that's it. Because that first movie is so relentlessly good. Like, I watched it again, and I'm just going, God damn, this movie is so good. Like, how did this movie not get more notice? And then the sequel just is just like... Did Guillermo del Toro direct this movie? Like, I don't get it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Like, I remember thinking it was so cool back in the day. Somebody help me out with this? Am I wrong? Am I just having a bad day? What's the matter?
Part 2?
It's the wet mattress, yeah.
I know. I think maybe like what I remember is like you're talking about part 2, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love part 1, so yeah.
Is like Clive Barker had wanted to do something much more grander than what's actually in the movie.
Yeah,
And
I remember that. I've seen that Leviathan documentary.
yeah, and he didn't have the funding or the technology, and so what you get is what you get with part two. So
And I think the bigger problem is he doesn't direct. So that's the other thing is there's a tonal shift in the film. And that's why I was joking about the Guillermo del Toro thing, because the movie feels more like a labyrinth, kind of movie.
Tyrell says he loves part two, but he's been hearing this a lot lately from people for some reason.
I don't know what it is.
So maybe there's something about part two.
I don't know. I'll have to rewatch them again at some point again. And I mean, look, I'll still say that 1 and 2 are the two best of the series, with 3 and 4 being okay. The rest in between there being shit, besides maybe 7. And I do unapologetically but I do like Hellraiser Judgment. I thought it was a very well-made film.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better if, it had, God, I just forgot his name, guy who plays Pinhead.
Oh, yeah.
The original.
Oh, my God, what is his name? It was like it was in my head and
Paul
it slipped
Taylor
away.
at all. I can remember Paul Taylor now, but I can't remember. And nothing against Paul Taylor. He does just fine.
Yeah.
Even in the film, Pinhead is more of a secondary or tertiary character.
Mm-hmm.
But, Douglas Bradley.
Doug Bradley.
I just remember it just
Doug
as
Bradley.
Corley and Rogue brought it up.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't, and that maybe that's another reason too. Is just I don't feel like there's enough cool Cenobite shit in the second movie. There is cool Cenobite shit, but not with Doug Bradley and those guys. And that human battle at the end just it's kind of weird.
Was he doing when was the second one made? What year was that made?
88, I think.
88.
I think it's like the year right after the first one, if I remember right, wasn't it? Or 86, I think was the first one came out, so 2 years or whatever.
I wonder if that's when he was like real knee deep in the Nightbreed story, because he wrote Cabal before he made the movie.
Probably.
So he was really into
I think that's what he directed next. I think. I mean, I know he produced it and he was still pretty hands on, but there's just it suffers from a lot of sequelitis lately for some reason. I don't know.
I don't mind Bloodlines. I think Bloodlines is like goofy but fun.
It has some good moments. It has some interesting stuff. It's probably one of the better of the in space.
Yeah, Pinhead goes to space.
So,
yeah. No, but no, it's interesting here because it looks like you're not the only one that's having these problems about part 2. So
we'll see if I watch part 3, but anyhow.
Yeah. But I'll be completely honest with you. I've never been a huge Clive Barker fan. I'm not always all for that like stuff, but he did create some amazing things.
He's an acquired taste. I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
I like his stuff for the most part, but I also see through, and this is maybe why I used to like part 2 more than I do now, is that I used to kind of be able to see what he was trying to do more so than what ended up coming out on the film. But I've also had to learn how to see, because I used to do that with a lot of movies unfairly, as I used to kind of judge them on the movie that I was kind of seeing through, not actually the movie I was getting. And then when I've had to re-review films more seriously, because I don't really consider myself a film reviewer other than when we kind of do, what we do here is probably the closest I do.
Right.
Other than once in a while when I watch a new film, I mean, I will do a technical review of it on a show or whatever, but I don't consider myself a professional reviewer. I don't.
Right.
I never have. I mean, even if we got on, I mean, I'm technically like I can do the Rotten Tomatoes thing because I'm a Fandango user, but even if we got like the professional thing, I don't think I would still consider myself one. I don't know why. I don't think people should follow what I say. I'm better at just telling people what I think they would like compared to things they do like. And this whole idea of arguing over films and stuff, that never became a part of my life until the internet.
Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, I do remember getting into discussions about movies and shit with people, and we would get in disagreements sometimes, but it was very rare and in between. And most people just kind of listen to what you've said and same, vice versa. And you wouldn't even really get into a debate about it. It didn't start till the internet. So I don't know. Anyhow, like so I've had to kind of reevaluate a lot of films, and maybe that's kind of what's happening with me, like in Halloween and a few other movies lately. I don't know.
Just go to the John Carpenter route.
I mean, Hellraiser.
Yeah, just go to the John Carpenter route. Did you see they tried to cancel him because he didn't like The Substance? I don't know if you've seen that clip, but it's hilarious.
Well, I got soft canceled for not liking Sinners, so
Yeah, I know. But like John Carpenter, like some woman asked him at a place, like, I absolutely love The Substance. What did you think about the movie? He goes, I
saw
hated
that,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I absolutely hate it. I didn't like nothing about the movie. And everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, the John Carpenter's putting down a female director in a female movie. What it's like to be like John Carpenter. You think John Carpenter gives shit? John Carpenter gives no shits. I don't
It's
care.
kind of like
I
Tarantino
love
saying
John
he thought
Carpenter.
Joker 2 was brilliant.
Yeah,
It's like, you guys got to understand, he's not praising the movie for what it is. He's praising what Phillips did as the big fuck you to the audience. That's what,
yeah, that's what
because
he did.
Tarantino as a director is going like, look, I know it's not a good movie, but I respect what the motherfucker did because I wish I had the balls to do something like that. But I, you know,
Yeah,
basically, he's like, is what he's saying. Let's be real. I mean,
yeah,
but he doesn't even have the balls to touch anything that is a pre-made property, right? He even admit like that he backed out of Star Trek. So,
yeah.
but that being said, yeah, no, I forgot about the Hellraiser movie. So I do have 3 more titles left. How many do you have left?
I have 3. I have 3 left.
Okay, all right. So we can. Do you want me to
Go
go
101. Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys about this one. I did do a video on this one. It died, but I don't care. I wanted to do the video on it. The video died, but I don't care. I wanted to talk about it because I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen
I
it
thought
in years.
the movie died.
No, the video I made on it died, but it's
Oh.
understandable why. I get because like everybody talks about this. But I watched Tales from the Crypt Demon Night.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a while. I should watch
Yeah.
that one again.
Me too. That's what it's like. I had not watched this.
Fucking-
Go ahead.
What's his name? Oh, Jesus Christ, the bad guy.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane is so fucking insane in that movie.
Exactly.
He gives a performance of a fucking lifetime. In that
Tell me
movie.
about it. Just speaking of which, real quick before I get into it, here you guys go.
This is how much I love Demon Knight. I bought these and I have kept them for 29 years.
What I was really fascinated by was that it was creating a mythology and wanted to be part of that.
These kinds of movies, they're very hard to make because you have limited budget, limited time, and so the collaboration is crucial to get what you want.
Billy Zane improv the hell out of that movie. He really did a great job.
Human! You're not worth the flesh you're printed on! Fucking hold dunk, po dunk, well then there, motherfucker!
I had started putting my mother in some of my movies, and my mother thought she was going to play a demon in this one. And I'm thinking, oh no, I can't kill my mother on film.
But yeah, the Billy Zane stills this.
Billy Zane's
movie.
fucking great.
Oh, he's so good at it.
Oh God, I just forgot his name. The guy from Bill and Ted, he's great in it too.
William Sadler. Yeah.
William Sadler, like, oh fuck. And of course, William has a great history with Tales from the Crypt in general. So
Yeah, he's even in Bordello Blood too. So
yeah.
yeah. But no, I had not seen Demon Knight in probably a good 10 years, maybe. It could even be, I said 10 years in my video, but it could possibly even be 15 years. I gotta say the movie held up. I don't know how you feel about Bordello Blood, but I think Demon Knight is better than Bordello Blood.
Yeah, Demon Knight is the better film, but I feel like Bordello Blood is one of the more overlooked, better horror films ever made. And I mean, it captures, both films do a pretty good job of capturing, but more so, Bordello Blood feels more like a Tales, quote unquote, Tales from the Crypt movie.
And
Demon Knight is just a damn good ass movie.
It is.
Like, and it's kind of a bummer that we didn't get the Frighteners as a Tales from the Crypt story.
Or Dusk Till Dawn was also supposed to be.
Which also was, but that one's R-rated, because my point was I would love to, get a more, like, because the unrated version I'm just saying, like, the unrated version of Frighteners shows you how much better the movie was supposed to be or whatever. And I think it would have worked better as a Tales from the Crypt movie, because that's what it kind of feels like once you realize that and all these stars are in it. It's like, well, that's why Michael J. Fox is starring in a horror film,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and this movie is just so and you're not wrong, because I was this. Speaking of Shout Factory, this is Scream Factory, Shout Factory title here. I was watching the special features. The movie was not written, as most Tales from the Crypt stuff, was not written to be a Tales from the Crypt movie. It was written as its own standard. Like, that's why I think that's like you were talking about, like why so many of us hold on to it and stuff. And as I was watching it and I watched that special feature, I thought to myself, I bet this could have been a really great horror franchise, probably a straight to video. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way, straight to video type, which we got the Puppet Masters and stuff like that on straight to video, which is fine. If it wasn't a Tales from the Crypt movie, because it does do a lot of world building, a lot of mythology building, has these great performances between William Sadler and Billy Zane in this, and like this age-old battle between good and evil. And it's not quite a morality tale like Tales from the Crypt. Like Bordello of Blood feels much more like Tales from the Crypt, as you were talking about, you know, like with the morality tale and everything. Whereas this just feels like a movie that should have been maybe we should have had The Frighteners as a Tales from, like you said, and Demon Knight should have been its own movie away from Tales from the Crypt. But I don't know if you would have got the cast and everybody that's in it if it wasn't for Tales from the Crypt. That's the thing with this movie.
Right.
Yeah. So, but Billy
Which is
Zane,
why they're, on the other end, the Frighteners got what it did because of that. And then at the same time, Peter Jackson's like, if I'd have known, you know, at the time, I would have made a much better R-rated film. Because the problem was it did get stuck with an R rating, even though they shot it as a PG-13 film. That's where I got my wires crossed there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
because once it wasn't a Tales from the Crypt movie, they tried shooting it as a PG-13 film, and they still ended up with an R rating. But anyhow, you were saying sorry.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, that opening scene with the Crypt Keeper and that naked chick in the bathtub and John Larroquette, that's gold. That like the Crypt Keeper stuff in the beginning and the end are gold. I mean, great wraparounds and everything. And then the movie itself. And this is one of the few movies I can stand Jada Pinkett in as well, you know?
I almost forget she's in it. But I mean, the movies are good because even though Bordello didn't do anything at the box office, I mean, it's strange because the challenge for a Tales from the Crypt movie is that the show being on HBO and the movies and the show already having a production value like a movie, which is sad that they lost the original film for it. So the Blu-rays are gonna look like shit. But anyhow,
yeah.
That being said, it's hard to come up with an idea or a way to sustain this and get people to go to see it in a theater when they can already see everything they're seeing on the screen at home. This kind of reminds me of when Beavis and Butthead did Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I'm kind of scratching my head going, why is it PG-13? And then you see the movie, and shit, the movie's actually tamer than the show.
Right.
And in that sense, what happens, though, is the movie, the reason Beavis and Butthead works is the same reason why Demon Knight works, and to an extent, Bordello of Blood, is it just because they're good stories. Like, they were really good stories that sustain a film, and they were bigger, a little bit bigger story, well, especially Demon Knight, not so much Bordello of Blood. Bordello of Blood could have been an episode of the show, but Demon Knight feels too big. Like you can tell why this was a movie and not a TV show. So yeah, like that aspect of that, and that's where I drew that comparison. I know Beavis and Butthead have nothing to do with
I
the other, but I mean they're both from cable TV shows that were made into movies. But yeah,
yes, and it's very evident with the special. And like how long ago was this released by Shop Factory?
I want to say 5 to, so it's going to be coming up pretty soon, probably for. I'm sure I think I heard a rumor that isn't this one getting a 4K sooner than later?
I hope so. I really do.
I'm pretty sure it's a pretty good seller for Universal. I don't know about Bordello, but
no, it's very evident from like the director Ernest Dickerson and the cast and everybody that they talked to on this is like they wanted to do more of Demon Knight. Billy Zane wants to do a sequel to Demon Knight. You know, William Sadler wanted to do a sequel to Demon Knight. Ernest Dickerson wants to do a sequel to Demon Knight. And I think that's what I'm talking about is like, this was such a great movie. It's such a great concept that it was meant to be its own franchise, but it was a Tales from the Crypt movie, which is great. You know, don't get me wrong. It's just, there's potential for this movie to have continued on. And
this is kind of like a reversal of Halloween 3, right? Like this franchise was always set up to be a anthology movie series. It was never going to get a sequel, most likely, which is kind of sad. But I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, Jose, because that's kind of the thing I was going to get to too. Is once the success of, you know, because Demon Knight wasn't even that successful. It was a success, but it wasn't like a huge box office success. But it was a bigger success on video.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then I think the irony of ironies is that the movie showed on Showtime because Showtime had the deal with Universal.
Yeah.
So that was even the more head scratching thing about the whole thing. But like, yeah, so because I think that's also where like the TV rights are all fucked up,
Mhm.
and the whole rights with in general with Tales from the Crypt, because they were going to redo it because Warner Brothers thought they had the rights, but they turned out they just had the rights to the name or whatever, or partial rights, and they didn't own the Crypt Keeper. Universal owns the Crypt Keeper, and that's also where the show is separated. Like HBO owns the rights to distribute the show, but they don't technically own the show. I guess Universal in some way or something, like one of their subsidiaries owns the show, like through Lorimar or something like that it was. But yeah, so like Death Becomes Her was meant, because anything like, because that's the key is Robert Zemeckis, because he was a big part of Tales from the Crypt. So that's where, like, obviously with him being a producer on Frighteners, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I think initially he had planned that Death Becomes Her and he was going to kick off the films with that, but it just didn't work out that way. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of sad that we didn't get more of a franchise in general from Tales from the Crypt and another Demon Knight down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that would have opened the door, especially if the Tales from the Crypt franchise itself would have been more successful film wise, then maybe we would have gotten a sequel down the road, because that opens the door for that, right? It's like, well, what do you do with movies that are different from the show? Well, give them a sequel, right? Like,
yep. Exactly. I really wish we would have back then. I don't want them to do it now, even though Billy Zane looks almost exactly the same. Really,
and William Sadler could probably pull it off. But even though, doesn't he die in the original?
He dies in it. They both die in the movie, but I mean,
but
it's heaven and hell. They can bring them both back very easily. Jada Pinkett ain't coming back. So fuck her to begin with. So we don't need her anyways. But like the rest, William Sadler and Billy Zane could come back. The devil can resurrect Billy Zane and God can resurrect William Sadler. It's pretty clear what that's what the whole movie is about, good and evil and this ancient prophecy and all that. Yeah. So it's good. And I do want to give out a shout out to Thomas Hayden Church in the movie, who plays Roach from Wings, because like he does a great role too, because his character is so horrible that like, even though Billy Zane is the bad guy, you want to see Billy Zane on the screen and you want to see what he does. But Thomas Hayden Church is just like such a dickhead and asshole, non-redeemable. You cannot wait for him to get his comeuppance. And it's so different from Lyle from Wings, which I watched Wings. He's such a different character. And then Dick Miller is in this movie, and he has one of the best scenes in the whole damn movie where he walks into that, where Billy Zane gets money, walks into a room full of just naked chicks, boobs, like 20 boobs everywhere, drinking liquor, and then he turns into a demon. And that was like, I was watching, that was the first time he's ever had prosthetics ever put on him in any movie ever. He did not like it. That's what it is. He did not like it, but he loved doing that scene. So, I'm sorry.
Fett brought up the soundtrack too.
And the soundtrack is fucking.
And that was another thing I was getting at, is I'm sure that was another reason why at first they thought, oh, this is going to be lucrative. You had the soundtrack, which was something you didn't get from the TV show at all, really, other than the theme song from Danny Elfman was, memorable, but I don't think it was a big, huge like seller on any CD or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like you had, that soundtrack, and that soundtrack was pretty big. Not like huge, but it was big enough. And you had Hey Man, Nice Shot, and a few other hits off it or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember the video and stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, it's a good film. It's too bad that they didn't get more success from the franchise, and that everything's been sitting in kind of limbo. And I think also the characters got some co-ownership with what's his face, who does the voice too.
Oh yeah, and, I was going to bring that up because he was actually at a convention and they asked him about why there has not returned. He said a lot of, because like what you're talking about, he said a lot of stuff that was done on the series was handshake deals by these big creatives from Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg, and all of them. And he said a lot of it was handshake behind the scenes type deals, to where like nobody really knows who owns what. And you can't really get away with that in today's Hollywood. So he has no clue how to ever bring it back.
Yeah, and I think even what's his face, Kevin Yeager, owns a little piece of him too. So it's all kind of
Walter Hill was part of it as well. So
yeah, it's all convoluted, and that's the problem right now. Because I think Peel or whichever one that does the horror movies.
It was actually what is his name? M. Night Shyamalan was supposed to remake
he
it.
was one of them too, but I thought Peel was too. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm missing.
He did the Twilight Zone.
Okay, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, M. Night Shyamalan was going to do it, and then it fell apart because of that whole thing, because they couldn't get the Crypt Keeper, and everybody's like, "Well, if we can't get the Crypt Keeper, then we're not going to fucking do it." And there was a moment where they were thinking about coming up with something new, but everybody's just like, nobody's going to care, because the only thing anybody associates with this now is the Crypt Keeper. He became so synonymous, like that is Tales from the Crypt. That's what makes the brand the brand. So if I were them guys, I would get a couple lawyers on this and figure this shit out fast.
Yep.
Because the longer you wait on this, the longer you're getting away from anybody giving a shit. Especially if when they finally get Tales from the Crypt back up on HBO Max, if it's even remotely successful, jump on that shit. Get some lawyers working on it, work it all out, write some fucking checks, get this shit. If anything, just do a revival fucking series on HBO Max today.
Yeah, especially to fix the last season of the show, because everybody hates the last season when they moved it to England, and it was, not the same. But no,
all it's got to be is "Hello, kitties." That's what every show has to start with. And nobody gives a shit other than that.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
boys and ghouls or whatever, Yeah,
hello, boys and ghouls, and the theme song when he goes into the mansion and pop up, your soul.
The Danny Elfman. That's all you need. The Danny Elfman theme, the Crypt Keeper, the same voice, all that business. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You can tell all sorts of stories. Get Timothy Chalamet and whoever the fuck else you want, Zendaya. Who cares?
Please not Zendaya, at least.
But unless you had more to say about the Demon
Night.
No,
just if you've never seen Demon Knight, give Demon Knight a watch. I had so much fun with it, watching it again. It still holds up to this day. And I think one of the reasons, before we go to you, is like one of the reasons Bordello of the Blood never did as well as it should as well too, is from what I've heard, is like there was a lot of behind the scenes trouble with that, like Dennis Miller and surprise, what's his name from Goonies, Corey Feldman, did not like each other. They got into a fight. Dennis Miller had to work a certain schedule. The chick in the movie didn't want to do nude scenes and stuff, and so like there was a lot of behind the scenes drama, which probably held that movie from being better than it should have been. You know what I mean? It should have been a much better movie, even though what they got out of it is incredible. What they got out of it. So, but with that being said, Tom, whenever you're ready for your next pick, if you are ready. I think he might be dealing with Sadie. But yeah, tell the Demon Knight, check it out if you've never seen it. Great movie. Awesome soundtrack. Great cast. Billy Zane is incredible. It changed your life. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So yeah,
I figured you were dealing with Sadie.
And this is one I was going to do earlier because it was connected more with Texas, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I should say, but we come back around to it anyway, and it's still technically horror. I did finish off the Hannibal series with Red Dragon, watching them in not chronological, but release order. And it's a great look. This movie gets a bad rap. I don't care what anybody says. Like, if you've read the books, you know that Silence of the Lambs is more of a ripoff of Red Dragon, and Red Dragon's kind of the better story. Has the infinitely better killer in it. And the story even makes the killer, gives him his own, plot in the movie other than just what he's trying to do to accomplish his, serial killer goal or whatever it is, like kind of with James Gunn, as we brought up earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as a film, Manhunter may be way better. Boba Fett, I mean, in both, I love both of them. I love that both have, that this is more connected to the Silence of the Lambs films and what it does. And I kind of like, I think, what's his face? Edward Norton is fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that respect, I think it's the better of the stories. It's the novel I remember better. Because Silence of the Lambs is great, but in the end, Clarice doesn't really fucking do anything. Everything that she does is just because Hannibal tells her to. Right? Like, at least with the character in Red Dragon, he's proactive in the story, and I like that better. And I think that the Red Dragon is a much better villain than
Buffalo
the
Bill
killer, Buffalo Bill, yeah. He isn't really sexually attracted to, he thinks he is, but it's like, yeah, whatever, who cares about this shit? Red Dragon is much more interesting. Motherfucker thinks he's becoming a dragon.
Yeah, he's
like
he's
literally
crazy.
thinks he's becoming a dragon. Like,
well, there you go. The Captain Krypton agrees. Yeah, I like Red Dragon better. Probably
Yes.
not more closer.
yes, and that's the other reason why. Look, the Noonan version is great with what's his face from CSI. It's good and it's very stylistic, and of course, Michael Mann, great, all that kind of shit. It's great for what it is. It's its own thing, and I can't wait for a better release of it because God knows it needs one. But the beauty of it is they are so different, and that this is directly attached to the Silence of the Lambs films. That for years, Manhunter was great, but it never really felt like it was the lead into Silence of the Lambs, even though this has some of the hammy shit to lead it in. That is true. Like, I love the fact that this does have more of the actual novel in the movie. And yeah, they do amp up Hannibal a little bit more, but who's fucking complaining about that?
Yeah.
Right? Because like in my memory, like in the book, one of the meetings is like on the phone, and I think they do the same thing in the Manhunter movie. But in this movie, they actually have a meeting, and I think they even add one more meeting to the whole mix. But
right.
Again, Ralph Fiennes does the character much more sympathetic, like, because that's the beauty of the story, and where it captures the story of the book a little bit better is you're supposed to, almost like we were talking about with Psycho earlier, the character is not the Tooth Fairy is not a good guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's not, but yet you kind of feel sympathetic for this guy by the end, and you're just like, shit, why am I actually giving a shit about this guy?
Especially when he's
where
with the blind girl and like,
exactly,
I don't mean to
exactly,
cut you off, but like when he's like forming this relationship with her, you kind of want to be like, can you stop killing and just get with this girl? And
he
be
does.
normal?
He wants to get better, and that's his whole motivation at the end there. Until you find out what's really going on, is that he just wants to get rid of the painting because he thinks that's the catalyst, and he wants to get better. And as the audience member, you're like, yeah, get better, dude. Like, but you got to remember, this motherfucker killed children and families and shit. Like, it wasn't just.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
There's no redeeming this guy. Yeah, no.
The Hannibal show isn't too bad. Richard Armstrong's not too bad in that.
Yet,
Yeah,
actually, I have to bring myself to it.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. Same thing with the Psycho show. I haven't got to that yet either.
The first 4 seasons of Psycho are great. Don't watch the last season. I mean, they're not great, but they're better than I anticipated them to be. The Bates Motel, the final season, that sucks. I liked Hannibal.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, the final Hannibal is actually a really good show. It's much different than the Silence of the Lambs movie. I mean, what's his name plays a much different Hannibal, but it feels right. You know what I mean? But it's all your interpretation.
Not is it Mads Mikkelsen or was it?
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen who plays Hannibal.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Right.
But he almost has to make it his own.
Yes, he makes it very much his own, but it feels like Hannibal. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you have to, though, because you have Anthony Hopkins literally won an Oscar for that role. It's his most iconic role. Hannibal Lecter is probably one of the most recognizable or well-known slasher guys, right up there with Freddy Krueger and all those guys, even more so in some ways because of how prestigious Silence of the Lambs is. And I'll be the first to remind everybody that it's just a fucking slasher movie. The only reason is because it was directed by Demi. You got fucking Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins in it. It could have been the same movie if Robert Englund was playing Hannibal and fucking, you know what I mean?
That would have been interesting.
Jamie Lee Curtis was playing fucking, it would have been an interesting kind of like prestigious kind of slasher film. Think about it. You got, and you're thinking about it in your head. You're like, yeah, fucking Robert Englund could have pulled that off.
I think he could have. I think he could have pulled off Hannibal. I think he would.
And Jamie Lee Curtis could have been Clarice.
Yeah. Actually, you're not wrong at all. It could have been interesting.
And what's his face? Donald Pleasance could have been Dr. Chilton. So
yeah. But shit, you could have had Chop Top Mosley as Buffalo Bill.
There you go. Exactly.
Bill Mosley could have been Buffalo Bill.
Puts it in the basket.
Yeah.
Love the basket.
He's just crazy enough to do that.
I'm gonna get some titties.
I'm gonna tuck it and I'm gonna dance.
Tuck it. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
I can actually hear him saying that. But Breitbart, I think Tom answered your question because he likes Red Dragon. So.
Silence of the Lambs is clearly like the better quote unquote film.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal, nothing happens. I said like last week, nothing fucking happens in that movie for almost 90 goddamn minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal is a horrible movie, really, when it boils down to it.
Yeah,
and Ridley Scott don't help himself in that one. And it's funny because that's like one of the few films Ridley Scott does not have a director's cut of, never talks about. It was clearly just that movie. It's pure Hollywood greed. At the end of the day, it's just pure Hollywood greed.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody's signing up for a fucking paycheck. The only persons that I think are actually performing are, Anthony Hopkins, of course, is giving it as best he can, but he doesn't have nothing to really work with. Ray Liotta is great in it, but he doesn't really have nothing to work with. He's given such a stereotypical role. What's her face? What is it? Julie? What the hell's her name?
Yeah, Julie. What is her name? Julie what? I know you're talking about red hair. The chick, I can't think of her name.
She's okay as Clarice, but Clarice has no character in that fucking movie.
Yeah, she's not
even less than she did in Silence of the Lambs.
At least Jodie Foster brought
Julianne Moore.
Yes, thank you.
So at that point, you're just like, this is a fucking poor excuse for a story. And I never read the book, and I've heard the book is almost as bad. So, and that book only exists because they knew they were making a sequel, and they wanted to have it. Like, from my memory, it was just kind of one of the most manufactured sequels ever, and it took too long.
Yeah.
And it was like the logical next step was, why didn't you just turn around and do Red Dragon?
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
it might as well. I mean,
it would have been 10 years, just do it 10 years after Manhunter. It would have been probably cleaned up the Golden Globe, or, not Golden Globes, what's his face who won the rights to Red Dragon? Dino De Laurentiis.
Yeah, Dino.
It would have cleaned up all that shit with Dino De Laurentiis and MGM and shit. With Universal and all that business. Like, it would have probably cleaned things up then, more so than what we ended up getting. Because that's the whole reason it took so long for Hannibal to get made too, was the fucking court battles over everything. It was just as bad as Lord of the Rings. And if you want to know about that, we did videos years ago about that, because the Hannibal fucking rights are almost as complicated as any other rights in fucking Hollywood, and it's a miracle half those movies got made, and even Red Dragon finally got made. So yeah. With that, what else you got for us?
All right. Well, keeping it with Tom Noonan, from Manhunter, even though he's not in Red Dragon, but since he was brought up, and I guess it's a nice little segue. I watched Monster Squad, still beautiful 4K. I don't know if I ever actually brought mine on. I think maybe I did, but I know I didn't have it the night we had Andre on the show. But this is something I watch pretty much every Halloween. Huge monster fan. You guys know I'm a monster kid. I love the Universal monsters. Great movie here, as always. Wolfman's got nards. And I still think to this day, after talking to Andre, it's like so many people who still calls this the Goonies. It's like, no, please no. It's always been the Little Rascals meets the Universal monsters. That's what it is. Even with the dang dog in the movie, and people still want to compare it, because the Goonies was the Goonies at the time. But if you've not seen Monster Squad, Tom Noonan, who in Manhunter plays the Red Dragon, plays Frankenstein. Great scene in that with, Bogus, where he talks, and this basically like Van Helsing tried to put it into all the monsters in the past. He messed up. They got sucked into the limbo. 100 years later, the monsters have come back to try to take over the world and not be defeated. These group of kids who are like the Little Rascals, who have a monster club, end up finding them and stopping them. So that's the gist of the movies if you've never seen it. And that's a good movie. I mean, I don't know how much more I can actually talk about it, because I know we talked like 3 hours with Andre, and I do think we need to have him back on again. So maybe we'll have him back on again one time if we can get him back about this movie. But if you've not watched that episode of the Physical Media Club show, I said club after I said monster. Go watch it. It's a great episode. But this 4K looks amazing. It comes with the Wolfman's Got Nard, the documentary by Andre Gower, and also Kino, which we broke on that episode, released a new version of the Wolfman's Got Nards documentary with deleted scenes and everything on there that wasn't on this disc. So if you've check it out. Monster Squad, great movie. Love the movie. Incredible 4K here. And speaking of like buying movies over and over, I still own the VHS. I still own the DVD. I still own the other Blu-ray that Lionsgate put out, and I own this 4K now and the Monster Wolfman's Got Nards and stuff. So I've bought this movie on every format, and I still own it on every format except
I think I
Laserdisc.
still have the olive version too somewhere, but I don't remember what I did.
Yeah, I don't have the olive version, but I have everything but the Laserdisc of this movie.
Horrible version.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, and now it even came out after the Lionsgate one, so it makes you wonder what scan
I think they
did
their own scan, or if it was something like some cable scan or something like that. And the audio was wretched. It was like tinny as fuck. The DVD looked better at that point. And I didn't even know they did a Blu-ray of that till after the fact. And then I wound up finding another copy after I paid like $40-$50 for a version of the Lionsgate version. I found a copy at like a pawn shop for like $2.99. So I picked it up, and I think I gifted it to a friend. But yeah.
I did not know Tom Noonan's brother was the guy with the hook and Adventures of Babysitting.
I did not know that.
I did not know that. I did not. But no, right. Yeah, I don't. We've talked, like I said, we talked about it before. It's just something I watch every year. I love the movie. I'm a huge monster fan. I absolutely love the movie. So, which will also play into my very last pick as well. So,
well, I don't mean to take it away from horror because my last two picks have no real horror-ish. Well, one of them kind of does. We'll get into that.
It's fine.
But I'm going to do this one first because actually these both have certain ties to certain things. I talked about the original film last week, so of course I had to watch the sequel. And some would argue that this is one of those rare sequels that is superior to the original film.
Ooh.
And I, of course, I'm talking about the masterpiece, Short Circuit 2.
Nice.
More input.
Johnny 5 is alive.
I am in a city. Yes, Short Circuit 2. I mean, a surprising sequel that I don't feel that gets enough credit for how fucking funny and good it is. In so many ways, I think it's funnier than the original. It's even got a more touching, and it even kind of gets deeper into the questions of what it is to be alive and sentient and all that kind of stuff with number 5. And it does it very well in a way that's kind of sweet-natured. And it kind of keeps up the family-friendly tone of the original film with a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek edge, just like the original film. It doesn't even really miss Steve Guttenberg. I know, sacrilege.
I know.
But it doesn't really even, because it's great that we get Ben's story here. And I hate how, Fisher Stevens has apologized ever since. It's like, fuck that, dude. This is one of the funniest, greatest characters ever. Don't apologize.
Yeah, his great character now.
I'm not even Indian. I get it. I have no right to say that, but I don't think too many Indian people are that fucking offended by it.
You know, it's funny. Not to go on.
Most people thought he was Indian. That's the other problem.
And like a lot of the Indians actually, like even with Abu and his character, they love him.
I was gonna say most of them even thought he was. That was like another thing is most people didn't realize, because it's not like Fisher does a bunch of stuff. For some reason, I don't know what it is with him, but I don't know if he's just difficult to pick movies, but some of the movies he picks are weird. But I know he's always somebody that everybody's always after, because he's always a name that comes up all the fucking time. As like, oh, we auditioned, Bronson Pinchot and fucking Fisher Stevens. It's like, well, how did they not get the fucking role? Like one of them at least. Like, how do these guys not have more parts is beyond me, because they seem like they were up for all the same roles. And yet Stevens even got kind of more of the shaft, because at least with Bronson you understand, because he was on, Perfect Stranger, so he had more shit going on. But I mean, Fisher just seems like he couldn't catch a break sometimes or what have you. But anyhow.
No, go ahead.
Andrew Gower shit. But he's a good dude. But so anyhow, check out the film. I do have the foreign one. I brought that on before. I just brought on the regular one now because I just watched the movie.
I'll be honest. The second one was the first one I saw.
I mean, it helps to have seen the first movie, but I don't think you necessarily have to. And I love Michael McKean's character in there, and I love, just the humor and the way. And yeah, even Media Archive says that it's underrated, but the first one is still better. I can agree to a point. There is aspects of the first film that I like more, but it's just such a good sequel that it's almost like it's an equal.
It is. It's pretty good. I mean, I love when Johnny Five is this one, right? Where he gets like the mohawk and the everything. And I love that scene. And then he gets gold at the end. He looks awesome. So I like the second one. I do. I think it's great. And I don't think Fisher Stevens should apologize. Yeah, I wish it would have did better. But it's great. Yeah, somebody mentioned they'll probably remake it. Yeah, they're here. They'll probably remake it with the AI robot today. You never know. They might. You never know.
There's been talks for a while. There's been a couple of times where it was going to get remade, but I haven't heard much recently. But you never know.
Johnny Five is alive. It's
yeah, he still could be.
I like.
He needs to go to college. That's my pitch for a third film.
Like Revenge of the Nerds meets Short Circuit. That would be
lots of software.
And he finally gets a girlfriend.
Input. Yeah.
Somebody creates it. Here's you go. Here's your perfect movie. Johnny Five goes to college like Revenge of the Nerds and meets Bride of Frankenstein, where they create like a female version that's designed to be like, cause he was designed to be like a destruct, next wave of an army. And so now they've created like maybe it's like even an AI voice or something, and like, he saves her, falls in love with her or something, so there you go. There's your story.
and her name could be Eve, just like Wally. Yeah. Take it back.
Which Wally is pretty much a ripoff of.
Well, the look anyway is.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, Short Circuit 2 is a lot of fun.
It is. It's a good movie.
It needs a 4K, but the first one really needs one.
Yeah.
At least this one looks semi-decent.
Yeah. Didn't they change the name? Speaking of which, didn't they change Fisher Stevens' name?
They did, and I never understood why, because it's the same writers and all that kind of stuff. So not the same director, but I mean, I never could understand. I can't remember why they did. I don't know if it's because maybe the name they came up originally wasn't Indian or something like that, and then they changed it to something that actually was, perhaps. But I guess the reason Fisher was so good at the accent is he literally hung around a guy for like months to get the accent.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it works. Like I said, not everybody knew he was actually a white guy before. Well,
yeah.
I find it funny that they like, oh no, you can't do that nowadays. I have to apologize for doing that when nobody gave two shits. Not even the people that you're portraying even cared. But no, I get you. I mean, if there's anything else,
some of the best lines in the movie. Are you kidding?
Yeah, right.
And he's one of the best parts of the first movie. That was one of the reasons why it was so kind of funny that they were smart to kind of jump to that, because that was the standout of the first film, is everybody loved him and his misquoting of, colloquialisms and, American phrases and stuff, So, but, and he carries that over here really well. And he doesn't do it in a way that's like, it doesn't make Ben sound stupid. It actually just makes him sound like, he knows what he's trying to say, but he just, and that's the humor in it, is because we like the guy. You're not laughing at him in a mean-spirited way or anything like that. And you want to see him get the girl. And that's the other thing about this movie, is it almost has a better love story than the first film, because Newton and Stephanie getting together in the first one is kind of forced. Not forced, but it just kind of happens, and it's quick, and it's just kind of brushed over. It's like they don't really like each other, and then they do. It's like, okay, the typical thing. But with this movie, it's a bigger portion of the plot. And I like the whole, oh God, what the fuck is the story where the guy, Roxanne's based on? Somebody in the chat will help me with that.
Yeah.
But how, like number 5, he's, like, I read many stories or many books on dating rituals. I can help you, in the whole thing with the billboard and everything. That's just a great bit. The whole thing is great. The bookstore scene's great. It's got just chock full of so many great scenes, and then at the end when he realizes, that all he did, that he got damn near killed when the other guys were just kind of put to the side just so Oscar can pull his heist off, and the way he reacts is just it's just fucking brilliant because he has pure anger, right? And I think it's the first time that he's ever felt pure fucking
Yeah.
you know, he wants flat out revenge. And I mean, you know, he's been angry before, but not to this extent, right? Like it's just kind of a cool bit to have in the film and the way it turns out. I'm sure it's got the same kind of ending as the first one almost, but still, like not exactly. But that's the beauty of the film is it's not a straight rip off of the original either.
It's not, and you know, and hey, and yes, would it have benefited better with Ali Sheedy and Steve Gutenberg? Yes, but I mean, it's still a good movie as it is, and it's
why? What would it have been? Them just hanging out in the farm?
Yeah, exactly. But Cyrano de Bergerac is the story that Roxanne. That's
Cyrano, yes.
Yeah.
And then like what otherwise? Like what would the sequel be? Just basically kind of a rip off of a retread of the original? Because what? They're on the farm, and then Nova finds out that the robot's still around. So then they send Schroeder out to go get them. So they're on the run again, and it just basically becomes a retelling of the first film. Why
And
even bother?
You know, and it's not like they killed them off or anything. They just said they're, you know, they mention them and say they're just not here at the moment in time. So like they're still part of these guys' lives.
She still has the cameo as the voice when he reads the letter. That's her voice.
Yeah, they're still part of their lives.
And it's not like I don't think they were ever planning on them being a big part of the film or any part of the film. I think that because the original writers, I think this is what they came up with as a concept. They're like, well, and I'm sure it came up to a point of like, okay, what can we do with number 5? Well, you know, we've done this, and the other, but he's never been in a city. Oh, that'd be interesting. Let's put him in a city, you know. So what kind of story do we need to get him to a city? Well, what if, you know, Ben is out trying to, you know, make his way in the world and blah, 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 blah. And he meets up with this guy who's like a used car salesman and boom. You know, like that's the story. It doesn't even feel like at any point it was like, oh, well, we need to have Steve Gutenberg in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, and I get it. Like I feel bad saying it because I feel like this is one of the few times where it's like in a sequel, it's like, no, you don't really need them. They're what would their story be at this point? They've basically been taking care of number 5 out on this farm. You know, Stephanie's probably doing a sanctuary for like, you know, rescue animals and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, Steve Gutenberg's just tinkering with his fucking robotics shit.
Yeah.
So like, what have you, but you could turn around and do a third film where, like you said, maybe Steve builds him a girlfriend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So number 5 can fall in love or what have you, or do both. Like I said, send him to college because, you know, he's gone through school so quickly. Now he's got to go to college because, you know, whatever. Because what's his next logical thing he's going to want to do? He's going to want to go to school and actually learn and get a diploma and all that kind of stuff. So he can actually feel like he's, you know, as smart as he really is. So because he's can soak up all this quote unquote input. Yeah. But it's just so funny that he only has 500 megabytes of online memory. It's like, oh, that's so
terabytes now, man.
Yeah, he'd need terabytes of memory. Like that's the thing about number 5 is how advanced he was, even just before he became alive. Yeah. And what I love about this film too is that you see the advancement in the special effects. Because the first film, 99% of the time, he's just a Muppet / puppet, rod puppet type situation. In this film, they had the full sized robot where they could control it, kind of like and I think, you know, because of things like Roger Rabbit and stuff they had made, you know, they had the armature, you know, mechanics that they could do it where they could just flat out do full shots of number 5 acting alongside Fisher Stevens without having to cut to a different puppet doing a different thing. You know what I mean? Like they were able to do so much. It stinks they didn't get more. Like, I can't believe they just didn't jump into a part 3, even if they were straight to video.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's weird. I'm surprised they never did get like a straight to video sequel at one point. It's like kind of feels like a movie that would have ended up there eventually. So, yeah. All right. Final words? Is that final words?
That's pretty much it. Like I said, I didn't really go through the one I brought on last time, so this was just more to talk about the movie itself. There is a better special edition of it, but it's a Region B.
Like 88 Films or something put it out.
88 did it, yeah.
Yeah, Battery's Not Included is pretty cool. I haven't seen that in a while as well. That's a good movie. All right, well, to end off my final pick of the night, to keep it along with the Monster Squad and Halloween, I watched Mad Monster Party from
Oh, I've
Rankin
got
and
that
Bass.
somewhere, but I got a different version of that. I got that import version.
I think you got the
Via
umbrella
Vision,
one.
I think, or Umbrella, maybe one
Umbrella
of the
one.
two. Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is because this looks great. This looks really good.
Does it have both versions on there as far as like the broadcast version and the theatrical cut? I know those are or the theatrical version. They're the same movie. It's just the aspect
Yeah.
ratio. And then I think it has some special features. Otherwise, they're probably the same.
This has special features, but I don't think it's got 2 cuts of the film. It is 95 minminutes long.
They're the same length. It's just one's widescreen and one's
Okay,
4:3.
this isn't widescreen. This is 4:3.
Which is fine because I think you get more of the. I think you get more of the picture that way anyway. So
it looks good. The picture looks great. I couldn't even imagine what it would look like widescreen after watching it. Now I'm kind of
it's
interested.
cropped off because I think it got shown in theaters. I don't know if it was in the U.S. or just the U.K. or something like that. But like they explained it on there, so maybe there's a few things that are on there that aren't on that disc.
Yeah, it's got the making of a cult classic featurette, Sharing and Magic, Secrets of Stop Motion Animation, Groovy Ghouls, the music of Mad Monster Party featurette, sing along, stuff like that. So, but this is Lionsgate and done by Studio Canal. So, but it has Blu-ray DVD. It looks good. It looks really good. The Blu-ray does. It's keeping in the theme of the monsters. It takes place on Halloween. Boris Karloff lends his voice as for Boris Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, and he's just created a thing that destroys matter. He created his greatest invention ever because not only did he create life with Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, now he's created this thing that can destroy life, and he's going to retire. So he's inviting all the monsters to his island of evil and his nephew, and he's going to turn over everything to his nephew, and his nephew is a bumbling idiot. And so all the monsters want to try to take him out so they can get Dr. Frankenstein's secrets and become the head of because he's the head of the world order of monsters. So Dracula wants to be the head of it, and there's a redhead girl on the island who's a human. Well, at least you think she's a human. I won't spoil that right off the bat, but and she wants to take over. She feels like she should take over, and she ends up falling in love with his nephew. And it's got all the monsters in it, even it, and King. I think it's King Kong at the end as well. So like every single monster's in it: Visible Man, Dracula, the Wolf Man, Frankenstein and his bride, Igor, Boris Karloff, and all that. So yeah. And if you've ever seen any of which I'm sure we all have, if you've seen the Rankin Bass Christmas holiday specials, it fits right in with them. And I think this is like the only Halloween one they ever did, if I'm correct, because I know they did. And I've seen the New Year's ones, I've seen the Christmas ones. Did they ever do any Thanksgiving ones? I don't know if they ever did any Thanksgiving ones. Does anybody know that? And let me know that if they do.
I think they might have one or two, but none that ever really.
Yeah, I don't really remember seeing
anything that none that I remember anyway. I'm trying to think. There's got to be at least one they did. Like for some reason, I think they had to have done some with Pilgrims or something. I don't know, maybe.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like that's like the only one I don't remember, and I think this is the only.
And I think the other problem with Rankin and Bass too is a lot of the specials are owned through different.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of rights issues, but yeah.
Yeah, because like this is put out by completely different people than put out all the other Christmas ones and stuff.
And
I
that
think
was a conglomerate between Universal and Universal, Sony, and Warner Brothers, if I remember right too.
Yeah. And this was, like you said, this was released theatrically as well.
I couldn't remember if it was US or not, but yeah.
And it's very 60s. Was it the 60s? Yeah, it's very 60s. It fits very well, like the music and even like the way that it feels like you're watching a 60s movie. And it was actually made because I was watching it. It was actually made because the monsters were having a bit of a resurgence at the time, thanks to the Monsters TV series and the Addams Family shows. So like they were having a bit of a resurgence, and that's why they made this version of the movie for Halloween and everything. So yeah, and it doesn't, surprisingly, it doesn't have as many singing numbers, which I was happy about that, because sometimes they could overdo this, like the little singing numbers every once in a while. So it was good like that. And the only other famous voice they have in this is Phyllis Diller, who plays the voice of Frankenstein's bride. And she does, maybe they might have used her a little too much just because they got Phyllis Diller. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. It's a good movie. If you're into like these, these Rankin and Bass stop motion things, and it's just like, it's incredible to see the work and detail that went into these, and know that they had to move them slightly move them, take a picture, slightly move them, take a picture, slightly move them, take a picture, and how long this would have took just to create and make and then sync up the voices. It's an incredible achievement that just is lost.
They did quality work, and it's sad that they didn't, because like they kind of tapered off, and then their last film, Santa Baby, is trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Was this during Phyllis's prime Scooby-Doo years? It might have been from 1967. But no, I enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in a long time. So yeah, that's pretty good. I know I was curious about the Umbrella one. So like the Umbrella one has like,
I don't have it handy actually, or I'd pull it out, but yeah.
So but it might have.
I was actually looking for it the other day. It's funny you brought it on, because I was going to watch it too, but I couldn't find it. I can't remember what I did with it.
Yeah. But no, it's a fun movie. I enjoy it. It's got a bit of a goofy ending when you find out about the redhead chick, and I love how the fact that they made her with like these gigantic jugs. Like they were clearly,
it was the 60s. They could do that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's very 60s. It feels like almost Austin Powers at times, with the whole being on the island of evil and the Boris column. It feels almost very much like maybe Austin Powers took a little. I know it's from like from the James Bond movies and all that, but it like almost feels like there's a little bit of Austin Powers might have stole some stuff from this movie with them being on this island and the way everybody's portrayed and stuff. But no, it's good. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. So check it out if you guys have not seen it. But that's really all I gotta say about that. And now I feel like I'm Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump. That's all I gotta say about that.
Well, it's funny you brought it right back around to Frankenstein, because we've been ducking and dodging that all night.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, I'm a huge Frankenstein nut.
Yes.
I have a thing for every Frankenstein. Like, I try to get every version of Frankenstein. As you know, many films are kind of based on Frankenstein, even if they aren't called Frankenstein or flat out Frankenstein films.
And I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and one of the most famous that not a lot of people think about as a Frankenstein film at first, but if you really step back and take a look, it is literally Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally Frankenstein. It's just a sweet-natured kind of Frankenstein, and Disney finally put out Edward Scissorhands in 4K, and it even has a steelbook. Here's the old one, which you get the same Blu-ray in the 4K with it. But that being said, how does it look? Because I think the scan was done way back when. That's for the same exact Blu-ray, because this Blu-ray actually looked really good back in the day because it was a 4K scan.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like they did a little bit more work, but it doesn't look like it's overly manipulated. There's some mosquito noise here and there. But that's the most I guess I could complain about. The movie actually looks pretty fucking good. My only other complaint, I only have one other complaint. A, no new special features whatsoever. B, they don't have the original 4.0 soundtrack on here. For some reason, it only has the Dolby Atmos one. Other than that, it looks a lot better than I expected it to, coming from Disney. A lot more naturally of the time grain and proper, everything looks good. Like, it doesn't look like there's any, like, I didn't notice any still grain anywhere. None. Now, there's some scenes that feel like they may have been a little bit more leveled out with some of the grain, but then other times it's so present, and it almost at times looks like a Sony scan, which makes sense because I think Fox and Sony were working together about the time the scan would have been done.
Well, isn't like Disney, Sony part of that now? But you said Disney.
And then you also have Sony as part of the whole thing with it, but I don't know what. I think they're just distributing whatever Disney puts out. So I'm just thinking Disney just didn't fuck with it too much.
Right.
There's a few things I noticed because I did plop the Blu-ray and bop back and forth. And you can tell the Blu-ray is from a 4K scan of the negative, but there was a few blemishes and stuff that I noticed they cleaned up in the 4K
Right.
version. So it clearly they have done a little bit of work on it. Don't get me wrong. And they obviously did, you know, the HDR grading and all that kind of stuff. And that does help the movie pop. Like, especially the pastels in this movie. It does pop quite a bit. But I mean, yeah, I mean, as the film goes, it is a great Frankenstein remake, retelling, however you want to put it. If you have never seen Edward Scissorhands, do yourself a favor. It's probably Tim Burton's second or third best film behind Ed Wood. And I know some people would put Big Fish up there, but you know, to me, it's just not. I didn't care for Big Fish as much. But to me, it's also one of the more quintessential Tim Burton films, and it's one of the movies that's the most him, in a way, if that makes sense.
Well, Johnny Depp is his stand-in, so.
But yeah, and as Captain Krypton points out, this has had a 4K digital version forever. And that, I think with the HDR does look a little bit better than the Blu-ray, but now we finally have a fully uncompressed 4K Blu-ray, and it does look good. It's worth it. I will give Disney credit for where credit's due for not fucking with this one too much. So,
well,
that's the answer on that.
There you go. Yeah, I remember liking it. I always felt like this movie and Ed Wood, and you know, I've never really seen what was it, Big Eyes? Is that what you called it? What was it called?
Big Fish.
Big Fish.
I've never seen Big Eyes either, or whatever that other one he did.
Yeah, I've never seen those, but I always like.
I've seen Big Fish, but I didn't care for it as much.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was fine. It just wasn't. Yeah.
I always felt like Ed Wood and Edward Scissorhands was probably his top two. You know, for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love Beetlejuice. Batman Returns is
Beetlejuice
so fucking
yeah.
good.
Batman Returns is great. I mean, like you when you were saying it's like is the most Tim Burton. I feel like Ed Wood and this is like the most Tim Burton. So, but yeah, you're not wrong. All those other ones are incredible as well. Beetlejuice, Batman Returns are great. Sleepy Hollow is incredible. I love
Sleepy Hollow is good. Nightmare Before Christmas, even though he didn't direct it, is good. I mean, he's got so many great ones, but then, you know, I feel like that, and I've brought it up before, that the Tim Burton we have now is not Tim Burton anymore. He's some alien or something like that replaced him. No, I think that he suffers from that thing that happens to some directors. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was, I think it was Mars Attacks. I think that's the movie that broke him. Because I brought this up before. There's this point in a lot of directors' careers, and I think this is what Tarantino is kind of referring to when he says, I want to quit at 10, and why he's being so picky at his 10th film. Because it always feels like there's that movie in every director's filmography that they were something about it. They were so close and personal with it, and it didn't work. And it always seems to break them. And from there on out, they just kind of go through the motions. And if you look at Tim Burton, outside of like Big Fish and some very, very, very few exceptions after that point, his career took a complete shit. That's when we started getting nothing but remakes out of his ass.
Yeah.
And I think that's
all
everything from Alice in Wonderland to the Planet of the Apes film, which was right after
Factory.
that. Chocolate Factory, all that stuff. And I think that the movie was probably Mars Attacks. The only reason he probably continued to make movies was Big Fish actually got him some accolades. Because I don't know. Yeah, and the failed attempt at Superman Lives didn't help. But I don't think he was as passionate about Superman, and that's kind of why I think Superman Lives fell apart. Because I just think he cared. I don't think he gave that much of a shit. But Mars Attacks, I feel like, really damaged him, because that was a movie I think he expected to do very well. I think at the time it was the most he'd ever spent on a movie. Came out. I think I brought this up when the movie came out. You know, the movie came out, I think, a few months after Independence Day, and I know he was really bummed about how that turned out. So I think that really just kind of changed him as a director, and he was just like, okay, I'm just going to start doing what people expect of me, basically.
Yeah.
No, I think it was way before that, actually, media, but yeah.
It kind of fell into a thing, and it didn't help. I mean, as much as you may like these actors and stuff, but it didn't help that he kept putting in Johnny Depp and his girlfriend at the time, what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter. Absolutely everything. It's like, okay, we got Danny Elfman, we got Johnny Depp, we got Helena Bonham Carter. This is a Tim Burton film. And now he's doing it again because now he's dating Monica Bellucci. So he put her in the new Beetlejuice movie. So, I mean, she's an upgrade from Helen Bonham Carter. I'll give him that much. But no, you're not. It's interesting. I like Edward Scissorhands. So I may have to pick that one up. I didn't even realize it was on it came out like
it quietly came out on Steelbook 4K, and I think it's only a Steelbook because that's Disney's.
That's
now.
Disney. Yeah, they're trying to.
If it's not a brand new movie, it gets Steelbook only. So keep that in mind, guys. If anything, if you're worried about the price, it might go on sale at some point. But the other problem with these is they tend to sell out.
Real quick.
I don't even know if it's still available.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of Tim Burton's more and Johnny Depp's more popular ones. So I imagine, I don't know how much longer it's going to last. I don't know how much money they made. So, yeah.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we're done.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish I had more to say. We don't have any new special features that go with it. It gets just the same old disc that the old disc is in there, the old Blu-ray, and then the 4K only has the commentaries carried over. So
yeah. All right. Well, also before we close it out here, it looks like though to bring it back around to Shout and Scream Factory, Dragonzilla and Style Sex and there both sent us things on Twitter here saying that it looks like Shout may have oversold the movie John Woo's film Hard Boiled, and they're not giving them everything to Diabolic DVD. Not giving them all.
It makes me wonder what they mean by oversold. Did they not? They
don't look like they made enough
they were
of them.
Licensed, or they're just not going to make. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, the latter too. Yeah.
Looks like they didn't make enough of them and lied about how many they made, and now people want their copy, but they can't get their copy because they didn't send them enough. So there you guys have it. That's where the state of the company is at right now. And I know some people get mad when you put down Shout Factory and Scream Factory. Look, I love them too. I have a huge collection of Shout and Scream Factory movies. I loved their work. I loved like so many great horror movies I got from them that I don't think I would get. But where the company is at right now is not a good place, and it's clearly going down the tubes. So I mean,
I only have a few things to say to that. So,
yeah.
Should I?
Go ahead if you want to load. We're going to close it out.
That's one. That's one for sure. I don't know if I should be all that mean, but fuck it. I had to.
With that being said, I appreciate it, Tom. Thank you for being great picks tonight as well. I enjoyed your picks. Yeah. So thank you, Tom, for being here. Thank you to everybody out in the chat and everybody watching at home. Hope you guys have a safe and happy, fun Halloween. Like you said, next week we'll probably continue on a little bit of Halloween because Halloween's Friday, and I'm probably going to watch a lot of horror movies this weekend. Some of them I will not bring on because there will be repeats, but there's going to be a Halloween horror movie hangover. So next Wednesday. So it's kind of like a two-parter here. So, but with that being said, have a great, safe, happy Halloween. Yes, SCTV TV did come from Shout. It's great. Like I said, if you guys want to pick up Shout Factory, do it now.
Yeah.
They're like selling shit cheap everywhere. So
there
do it
is
while
a
you
handful
can.
I need to, but I'm so broke you have no idea.
Me too, because I'm looking through and I'm like, I want that. Can't afford that. Should I buy that? So like, I want to get
there's
a lot.
At least a handful of things, and then one of them is that SCTV set I want to get my hands on before it's unavailable.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody wants to gift them to me, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if anybody wants to
that
gift
one,
me the
and I know I
Halloween
need to-
movies, the last
that's
three.
right. You still don't have those.
The last
we
three,
just
I'll
talked
take
about
them.
that before the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, or in
I
the
want to
show,
watch
we did, I think.
H2O. I mean, I have that one Blu-ray that you have with all three of the H2O Part 6 and Resurrection.
Yeah.
Which isn't the greatest, but that's probably what I'm going to end up watching.
Is that the one like I have that has the open matte version of?
Yeah, it has
H2O
open
on
matte
it?
ones of them from.
It's just kind of neat in a weird way, but like, yeah, the sound is not the best.
Yeah,
it's not the worst scan in the world because I'm pretty sure it came from the negative, but yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not bad. But also, I mean, I know not everybody likes 4K like we do, so like a lot of these Blu-rays, which is pretty much the same thing other than the scan. Because like with Shout, they just give you the new 4K scan, and all the special features are usually the same, with maybe one or two new special features. But like the Blu-rays are super cheap. Like some of them are like $9.
I need Ghost of Mars and a couple other ones yet too.
Yeah.
I did get RoboCop, even though I was kind of like, whatever. But yeah, it was cheap, so
yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys have a safe, happy Halloween. Get you some physical media. Get you some popcorn, watch some scary movies, have a good time, and be safe. And I normally would end with the RoboCop, have a good one, but I'm going to end with some Gary Busey tonight. And as always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay
Gary
here.
Busey.
Gary Busey.
This is my buddy, Mr. Pumpkinhead. He is an incredible friend, especially this time of year. Halloween! Love you, Pumpkin.